You already know what it is. Riding the beat, man. Microphone check 1 2. What is this? If you can hear the sound of my voice, you are listening to episode 38 of His, Hers, and Ours, a real life couple holding real life conversation with real life friends. I am your co-host, Mr. WFTS Solomon Davis, joined as always by
the Culture Queen, Shannon Royal Davis. I'm present.
No acronyms.
Nah, no acronyms.
We are in the house that Surgeon Alfie built, Ohio Studios, getting back in some AC after coming in the hot sun down in Ybor City at the Cuban Club, listening to my man Surgeon General rock the stage.
Yes.
Yeah! He did his thing. We're very proud of him, very proud to be on his team, looking for bigger and better things in the future.
Yes.
Rob.
Yeah. The deacon. The deacon of what? Chairman of the Deacon Board.
What it do?
We're joined as always to my right by Alfie Santana,
who is really tired right now.
Cameraman extraordinaire. And big boy president, the Church Sinatra, chairman of the Deacon Board, Mr. Rob Thomas.
Absolutely, man. We just flew in
from
Poland.
Yeah.
Had to go over there and let them know, things going to be changing around here,
Talking to Putin.
Putin, yeah.
Yeah, smack him up a little bit.
Well, Putin don't like talking to me, so I had to call Donald up and take him over there with me,
Then what did Donald do?
Yeah, Donald just grabbing. Well, anyway, we can talk about that. But it's all good, man. I'm happy to be here, man.
We appreciate you.
That's what's up. What's up. We're going to start it off like we always do. Episode 38. I had to search deep to find the name of this one.
Who you got?
The Kurt Schilling episode.
Oh, Lord.
Kurt Schilling. I couldn't find no other 38s.
No footballs, no basketball.
Wow.
Yep.
You think anybody for
hockey don't go that high.
I remember Kurt Schilling.
I had to go to Kurt Schilling. That's the only 38 I could think of.
I wouldn't even want to say him because he's our Tampa rival.
But the Rays weren't doing anything when Kurt Schilling was handling his
he was.
There you go.
I still feel that in my soul.
Who you?
I feel that in my soul. But anyway.
So how was your week?
It was one of ups and downs. Still struggling with the whole the passing of my cousin. So and it's different because it's like a first cousin, but it's just been dealing with that for the past couple of months. And I sat down and thought about it. I was like, gosh, I've lost 5-6 family members in the last 5 months, I guess, whatever the case may be. So it's been really hard.
Condolences to you and your family.
I appreciate it. But you know what? Life goes on. You have to, that's why I think I take advantage of living in the moment. For real, taking advantage of just the time being spent with people and appreciating that. One thing I will say that one of our guests who came on previously was supporting your friends.
Yeah.
And so today was super dope. So we got a chance to go out and actually support Serge, as he performed. So, and it felt good. We were excited. So we just kind of, you take all those things in inventory.
I think it's one of them things that, you were there when it initially started and took off. So when Surge blow, you be like, yeah, I was there from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll remember us little ones when he do his thing.
Right.
Say, hey man, I'm rocking at.
I got y'all backstage passes.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
I need that laminate.
Crystal.
When you at Coachella,
I need
I'm gonna need some seats.
Look,
Get into the festival.
Yes.
I like that.
Hey.
I like that.
Oh wow, come on! But no, and also, Brittany, shout out to you for joining us too. I was excited to meet you, so that was really good. So shout out.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, come on in. We got more chairs. We still have some guests coming in, so they can do some, so we can talk about it.
So we're joined by 2 more guests.
Yes.
Hey, good people.
Miss Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
The producer back there is controlling it. So, to my right now, sitting next to me is Miss Tanisha Britton.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Tell us a little about yourself, Tanisha, and please plug your photography studio as well. Let them know about your services.
Okay, my name is Tanisha. I'm in Tampa by way of Cleveland, Ohio.
Whoa!
Word.
So welcome to Flow Ohio Studios.
For real.
As I like to say, Flow
Oh,
Ohio.
are you okay? Come on, Northerners. And I've been doing photography since 2011. I'm an LLC, and I do everything from weddings to bar mitzvahs.
All right.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate that.
Pam, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Pamela
Slide
Bradford.
on up a little bit.
My name is Pamela Bradford. I, too, am from Ohio, Cleveland, born and raised.
What part of Cleveland, guys?
East Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, Shaker, Warrensville.
Pretty much. I
Look,
say
y'all
that
warming they
some
soul. They little hearts just fluttering over here. With Flow Ohio Studios.
Okay, so when I say Cleveland, see, we say we're from Cleveland, but we're really from Lorraine, which is like about 30, 45
Yeah,
minutes
it's
west.
just right over.
Like going to
Gotcha.
Daytona.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Right.
that halfway point between Cleveland and where Cedar Point is.
Oh, okay. So when
Right.
we get real people from Cleveland in here, y'all want to tell us the truth. Oh, that's what we're doing. So that's what we're doing. So is that what we're doing?
Technically, I am in the city. My mother is right at Euclid and Green, so
Okay,
that is
yeah,
Cleveland
that's-
all day.
Oh, okay. So she real Cleveland. Y'all
real
Y'all
Cleveland.
fake Cleveland. Y'all
We buy
by way.
Right.
Okay.
Cleveland. You got to give it, say it
Right.
twice.
They look.
That's
They like
people that
Tampa and
leave
Brandon.
Florida and say, oh, I'm from Tampa when they really from St. Pete.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is. That's it. Nah, we appreciate it. Well, welcome you ladies to Flow Ohio Studios.
And so just to give y'all a brief synopsis of the podcast, we call it a His, Hers, and Ours, a real-life couple holding real-life conversation with real-life friends. So we talk about any and everything. We try to be transparent. We try to be open, and we just try to be real with it. Have a good time. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's open.
So-
Please don't hide anything. You got anything you want to add to it? Any questions you want to add? Just throw it
Yeah.
out there.
So we just usually have some topics or whatever. So I usually kind of jump it off because I do some. Yeah, that's what I call myself, this culture queen thing. But anywho, we just jump off with some topics that have been happening in the news, like culture news, like things that's been going on. And we're gonna start with y'all native city, y'all hometown, y'all state. Yeah, we're gonna jump right into this. So you can chime in if you don't know what the topic is or have anything to say. Give me a little more, and I can, fill in a little bit more of the story. But we really aren't really scripted. So, and we are, open format. Yeah, you can say whatever you want to. So it's none of that. So we're gonna jump on off into this, and we'll talk about. So our little Flow Ohio family here, they got a new quarterback, little Deshaun Watson, and he had his first interview this week.
Yup.
So we're gonna jump in it, and I'll share this. He got the second grand jury decided not to go forward any charges. They didn't see enough evidence to even try and press charges, and so he's cleared on that. So now he's just standing and waiting basically for these 22 lawsuits, and he had his opportunity, his first time speaking, honestly, since all of the allegations came out, because he was kind of quiet and just let his attorney talk. But this was the first time you got to really see him, and I just wanted to see what some of y'all thoughts were, if you caught the interview, or some of the things that he did mention in this interview. He reminded people that he was raised by his mom and his aunts, and that he respect women, and he's gonna fight this. He feels like anything that slanders his name, he's gonna ride out with it. He's not paying anybody any money. He's gonna have his day in court, and that's how he feels, and he's standing 10 toes on that. So what are your thoughts? You about to speak up?
I mean, go ahead.
Sorry. I think that I think that he's very brave to go ahead and try and fight them all out. But with this Me Too movement, there are a lot of women that's jumping on the Me Too bandwagon. Do I think that there has been a disservice to women? I do believe that. However, I think everybody is trying to get a come up.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just like with Snoop, when he was going to go and do the halftime, and then all these lawsuits started coming up for Snoop. And so I think it's a way of disfranchising our black people. Mm-hmm. So when you find somebody that can put some dirt on somebody, then they feel like they can smear your name, and therefore you won't get ahead. So I applaud that brother for going ahead and fighting. I hope that he didn't do the things that they,
right,
made the allegations against him. However, you know, we in this world where people are doing some strange things. You know,
Absolutely.
because when we were younger,
Absolutely.
that stuff never happened.
Right.
You get what I'm
Or
saying?
it wasn't
Or
even as
happening
public.
in
Yeah,
the
never
real- Right.
yep, verbalized. I think I agree.
This right here.
I
Right.
agree. I
This
agree.
didn't exist 20, 30 years ago.
I mean, I think that as a professional athlete, he felt that he was entitled to some things, that women would do some things and it'd be kept under wraps. And I don't think he's done anything different than any other professional athlete has done. I think that when he came out and told Houston that he no longer wanted to play for them, that it became
that
an
was-
all-out
when it became
slander
an issue.
campaign. The fact that in going through his grand jury investigation, that not one but two grand juries
Two different
decided that there
counties,
wasn't
two
enough
different
evidence to
places.
indict him on these charges, meaning that, you know, out of these 22 women, that none of their stories could collaborate enough to say, hey, we're gonna indict you on charges.
Right, and most people try to, like, when they're doing indictments, they want to do it within a sense of a reasonable doubt, like
Right.
in the
Right.
sense of, is there any place just like this is all, yep, exactly, exploratory, all for the basis of if we would have a case, if we brought this to trial, is it worth taxpayers' money to even try and persuade, you know, a jury to believe that this is what's going on. And so I wonder if the pool of women that they're selecting, if this stuff wasn't kind of staged, or, you know, it makes me question that, because it's two different sets of juries that are viewing this.
So the thing I question is, you know, with the grand jury not indicting him, you know, like you said, that's beyond a reasonable doubt. Did he do this and did he do that? What I hate the fact is, in the civil suit, is there a possibility that he could have done it?
Yeah.
There's a possibility he could do anything. So based on that, you know, chances are he's probably going to lose several of those cases, which means he'll probably have to pay some money. I mean, what I explain to people all the time, look at the OJ case. OJ was found not guilty, but still
come
found.
on.
Hey, now,
Don't
I
put
mean,
OJ.
OJ,
was.
Cosby.
Yeah.
hey, look here.
Go ahead. I'm listening, church.
You know, OJ, he did it. We-
I believe. I believe he has
He
something to
did.
do with it.
Yeah.
Like, look.
Yeah, it ain't gonna fit
I'm
because it was wet. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you can't put your anyway. There's a whole other.
I ain't saying he did it.
Yeah, I ain't saying it did, but I understand.
I
Yeah.
understood.
Now, with Deshaun, I feel like at least what's going to happen with him, he may lose a couple because they want that money.
Well, they're going to be all on one. I think they're all jumping in on one lawsuit together. Like, it's like a class action
class
almost.
action.
It's pretty much what it is.
Oh, well, ain't none of them
and they're
getting
doing
it.
it. So,
But if
my-
he does have to pay, I mean, he is making $230 million guaranteed now. So
That's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Right, it's
Now,
a
that
drop in
may
the
be a
bucket.
problem though, because at the end of the day, 230 guaranteed.
But who's to say that's how much they get
Yeah, they
awarded?
might not be awarded
Like, they
that.
may not be awarded.
they may get
that.
awarded $25,000 each.
How about they leave him alone and go after Trump's?
Thank you.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what? So for me,
You weren't
that's
saying
the-
that
but
had he
that's
signed
the-
with New Orleans.
But no, that's the interesting thing. It always seems like when it's a black man and he's in power and in a place of position of looking like he's the face of something, they will go after him and terrorize him half to death. But you know, that's rich white man owe money. You know, that's different.
Yeah, but the crazy part about the whole situation is they didn't take any of this stuff to court, but yet he's guilty in the eyes of everybody. Like,
So-
if you turn on ESPN,
But to me, and that was one of the things I was going to say. I didn't like watching Fox Network. I mean, not necessarily Fox, but NFL Network. And I watched the Saturday. Well, I watched their morning sports thing, and one of the ladies on there, she's just like, "Well, I don't really like the tone that they took." And so for me, I'm a little bit like, I don't have to watch NFL Network. I'm pretty good on that one because I saw your transparency right there. And my thing is, as a woman, you want to believe women, but I also know we live in an age where money makes sense.
Hello,
And that's all
somebody.
so that's the part for me. And actually, really, like, looking at him in that interview, it made me recapture everything that I knew about this kid coming out of Clemson. Like, I liked him coming out. I loved the character that he had when he was in college. And then the first year you're in the NFL, you take your game checks and you're paying the women in the cafeteria, giving them this extra money. You were giving your check to about 6 different people or a staff of people to split your game checks. He wasn't missing no meals because his money was already guaranteed, but that's something he did extra, and those people loved him. And my thing is, if your employer was aware of this stuff going on and y'all held it all under the rug, why they ain't suing them?
Hello?
Why you not suing the Texans? The Texans got more money than Deshaun. Although these companies are paying him that money, that means they got way more money because he's only one player you're paying this money to. So why
Right.
not go after the Texans?
We all know that if you go after those big dogs, repercussions gonna come. You know.
Well, this was the
especially-
So let
repercussion
him
when he
come.
said that he didn't want to play for them. So we're gonna show
That's
you
one.
who's
Right.
in power.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
paid him for
So that
the
was the
year
thing, you know.
while he was sitting on the bench. They paid him.
because they had to.
Yeah.
You know, had they not had to pay him, they'd have found a way to get rid of him.
I think it's a smear campaign.
I got
No,
it.
it is.
And I would like to see him
It is.
grow through it.
And
You
bring
look-
home the Super Bowl.
And-
Let's go.
Hallelujah.
Oh, okay.
So you
So
feel-
Brittany even brought up the point. She said they were talking on NPR about how it wasn't a good look that the GM or the head coach weren't present for the interview. But and that is true. Cleveland Browns, y'all didn't, but y'all had the
There
black
is problems
GM that
there,
was
too.
there.
Yeah.
He was there because he's the black GM that they hired, and don't get me wrong, that man he has a track record that's proven. So I'm gonna give him his due. But I'm glad that he was there, at least with Deshaun, that he wasn't up there on that stage by himself.
A lot of
Right,
people-
I,
they-
and
they
you
lost
can
a lot of
appreciate
people,
that
too.
because
Yeah.
he stood behind him.
They did.
They've lost some fans.
The NFL has lost a ton of fans.
Browns.
We
Talking about
lost
that.
fans that don't matter.
That's true.
That's how I look.
Winning cures it all.
Yeah.
Diehard fans.
Yes,
Yeah.
wrong
And
fans
for you
are
to lose-
diehard.
For
The
you to
real
lose,
fans stick around.
for you to lose fans over a
Really?
guy coming in that clearly didn't do anything. The court said he didn't, but the court of public opinion
Yeah.
says yes, you did. Number one, because you know you're a certain color, you're a certain ethnic.
That's all
and
it
it's-
is.
And it's like, nah, he did it. You know, just because y'all feel
Yeah.
like we're over sexualized or whatever, which is BS. But
Oh,
it's
the
just
world is over sexualized.
yeah, it is, but
I
that's
agree.
just like over. Like they try to say that black people are over sexualized, but
Oh, that's
all of
because
us
But
are.
you know, there was a case recently with Chris Brown.
Right,
Heard
yeah,
about
yep, that
young,
one.
That young woman.
But how Chris Brown, you see how he shut that down real quick, though.
He did though.
Yeah, he did.
He did. He said every time something comes up,
Yeah.
this is what y'all try to do. When I'm trying to drop my music, this is
Right.
what you do.
Right.
You're trying to always find somebody out there to say this. But he was smart already because he been start taking y'all phones and having non-disclosures when y'all come to their functions.
Sign it.
They don't let y'all have no. Y'all can't even come into their events.
let's film this. You want to show your friends?
Yeah.
Let's film it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I was really, like I said, it reminded me, letting him speak for himself. And it just reminded me, like, all I can see is my brothers in him. Or, you know, like, I see my husband, I see my kids. Like, I see those kids who grew up watching this same guy. It gave me back his character. Because for a year, he couldn't talk for himself. And I'm just, like, trying to defend him. But I can't even see what's really going on. Or do I know if he really did it? But it gave me a little sense of peace, a little piece of peace in my mind to say, okay, that's the guy I know. And I hope that what they're saying isn't true. I hope that somebody was out there trying to smear his name, just trying to, you know, because they got mad. He wanted to walk away from your corporation, your company, and your brand, and now this is what you're doing.
Right.
But I do hope that some truth come out of it in the sense that that's what's found. Because there's no way he was doing this since 2019, 2020. COVID hit. He was doing it in 2020. Allegedly, this is what was going on, but
And
it
could be
didn't
some
come out
girls that
until
he
he said it.
dated. It could be some girls that he dated.
It was
that they're
mostly
mad.
masseuse. It was mostly
Because he didn't stick
masseuse.
around.
But this is the thing. I've
that
seen
doesn't
masseuses
mean
that
that
do
he
that.
didn't date
Yeah.
them.
You true?
You know, he went into the massage parlor. He probably found them attractive. Hey, babe, let me take you to dinner,
That's true.
or whatever. And then when he didn't complete the task because he got a money sign on him, they're like, "Oh, you don't want me? I'm not good enough for you." Then here we go.
But we also seen some masseuses be at these parties, like how your old Boston Celtics buddy was throwing
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce had a massage party,
Yeah, he did.
and it's a bunch of men playing poker, and these girls they massaging all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so this is the type of stuff that I
Happy
look
ending.
at
He
twice.
wanted-
Like this
he
one
wanted
makes
to
it
get
look
fired.
bad.
That's
Right.
all that was.
Right.
He,
But I'm
he
just
wanted to
saying.
get fired.
That was stupid.
But what
He
man
wanted
don't
to.
go to a
Like,
massage
you know what, y'all,
parlor
they-
looking for a
this
happy
is-
ending?
Right.
This is
But
wrong.
my thing is, who goes to a massage? Look, I told them the other week. I said when I go get my massage, they say dress to your comfort. My comfort is naked. So
My
you
comfort is
gonna-
naked, too.
And I'm trusting that you're a professional, that you're gonna do your
Amen.
job. Not necessarily that it has anything to do with fondling some woman or anything. That's your job. You're gonna massage what I asked you, and let's keep it pushing.
Now you go
so
to the
for
orange
me, I
spa, that's
think
what
that
you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean that's the same when I put somebody on my massage table because I have
Yeah.
a massage table. I do massages on the side, and if I put somebody on the table, and you go to your comfort, and then they turn around and say to me, "Hey, I feel like I was violated." Well, you got naked.
Yeah.
Right.
You got butt.
Yeah. I
boot.
got
Ask for
you.
the massage.
I got you. That's what you
Right.
signed up for. I don't know nobody who get massaging full clothes unless they be like them chair massages. Your job be like, oh, you got a 5-minute chair massage.
Right.
That's the only place I
Yeah,
ever
that's
see
an
where they be.
office
Oh, yeah.
You-
My job
you
do
get
that. They
massage,
do
you get
that.
massage.
They be like,
I
sign
would-
up for the little 10-minute chair massage. I was like, these 10 minutes, I can go get a
minutes.
$5 and put it in the mall and
Yeah,
just
I
go
needed
sit
it.
there and
It
do
was a
this.
stressful day at work.
But yeah, I got you.
I get
So-
a good topic.
So we'll go on to the next topic. I was sticking into sports real quick. A U.S. district judge fined Ray Allen for skipping jury duty to go attend KG jersey retirement. Any thoughts on that? Do you think it was just a matter of they were pissed that he was skipping out or what?
I mean, we all done got out of we done got out of
nah.
jury duty before. The
You
man
gotta-
didn't go through the right channels.
You got to
then
take
shame
your
on him.
ass. You got to take.
Should have
your
been on
ass to jury.
TV that night.
Exactly.
Got to
But
go
they
to
give
jury.
you
duty.
other
Besides, we
options.
all know KG ain't want him there anyway.
Well, he went there to show his support because he's trying to
KG
mend
ain't
fences.
want him
He's
there
trying to
anyway.
mend fences.
Yeah.
He's trying to mend
Well, that
fences.
fence broke.
Exactly.
It ain't that broke. They was hugging and bro man
That
it
was-
up.
that
And
was
I
all
ain't
for
never
the
seen
show.
K-
Man,
no
they-
time
they-
out. KG is the only one up there that ain't bruh man with you when he don't like you. He's real, 100%. So for him to hug Ray Allen, there must have been some type of conversation.
Hey,
that
we
took
got
We
this
saw what
ring.
happened a couple weeks
We got
earlier in the
this
All-Star
ring.
game.
or
so-
whatever.
Oh, he snubbed him.
Exactly.
He snubbed him for real.
But that's why he showed up to that Jersey thing. He like, oh, okay,
That was
you
for,
gonna
that
see
was the
me.
organization. That's all.
No. So you
No,
think
no,
it's
it was
Boston
no.
made that call and said, "Hey, look,
We need to show up.
y'all need to."
For real.
But KG was all
Get your-
y'all know how high energy
Get
KG
your
is.
ass.
He on
Both of y'all better make this look good today. Make it look good for the fan.
Whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
All he
Make
had
it
to
look
do was
good.
on that
Kids,
list that
man.
it was like if all else fails, like all you had to do, you could. There's ways you could skip it. They give you different options on that.
Yeah, he could have said, "Oh, I know this person."
Yeah, but how obvious would it have been if he was like, "Nah, I ain't showing up." Everybody knows what the riff
Oh.
is between the two of them. So he's like, "I gotta look like the good guy."
Oh, so you
Yeah.
just gonna take that fine?
Exactly.
I'm,
He
bruh.
He took the L for
Bruh, pass me your money.
it. He
Pass
took
me
the, he
that
took
check.
the L.
Cut that check.
But for the last sports topic, let's jump on this real quick because I like the fact that you said we're talking about the black GM that stood up next to Deshaun and the Cleveland. Let's talk about Deion Sanders
Okay.
and calling out all the NFL teams and GMs who did not show up for the pro day at Jackson State University, meaning that those same 32 teams were showing up to Mississippi State and Ole Miss the next day, but they did
Well,
not
he
show
didn't
up.
call out all of them. I
Yes,
think he called out
He
10.
called out the one. There were
ones that did
24
not
teams
show
called
that
us
showed
out.
up.
24 showed out.
8 didn't show up, and he
Yeah,
called
he
out the
called
8
us out.
teams that did not show up.
I like
How do you feel
Deion,
about
but
that?
And I appreciate him for that. I do, because my thing is, it's some value there. It is not, you don't find, like a lot of those longevity, the athletes that have that longevity don't necessarily always come from those big schools. And I respect Deion for that. I want him to put fire under their ass.
Hey,
Simply put, they deserve it.
He probably feel like they were supposed to come just because of his name. I'm just providing pushback right now.
Go ahead. I can respect
Uh,
that.
Do you feel any of those players that he has, without them being coached by him, have the talent?
There's possibility. There, on every team, I think that there's at least one stud out there that can go on anybody team.
Okay.
There's always a stud in the, on any of those teams that
So-
stand out. Not that
so-
all of his players gonna catch somebody eye, but at least give them a chance.
I'm gonna ask you this.
Go ahead.
Out of all
So
the-
wait a minute.
'cause
Out of all
follow
of,
this-
can I ask you this?
Yeah, so he's gonna
wait
ask
a minute.
you.
I'm asking him.
That's the same.
You're
I'm
the
same
I'm
way.
going to
Go
ask
ahead.
you this question because you just
Go
asked
ahead.
me that about
Yeah.
that one school. When you go to Ole Miss, all them players stand out to you. They all belong on the NFL roster. Oh, okay. So I'm just flipping that back to you. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, out of everybody there at Jackson State, if you don't follow the show,
Okay.
who do you know?
Besides his two sons, I know the boy that came from UCF. I know the boy that came from South Carolina with his sons.
Okay.
So it's 4 of them that I know. Like if I see their names come across the thing, I would recognize
Out
them.
of all of them, you're only gonna hear about Shador and you're gonna hear about
Shiloh.
Shiloh. You may hear about the wide receiver,
wide receiver,
who's like beyond crazy because he got a whole bunch of sports. He played
Yeah.
basketball and that.
But he's tall too, and he looks
That's
like a
it.
freak. But give him, but go there
he a
and see
freshman.
him. Go see him at least. I just want you to give him opportunity to go see them. Just let me show up for the interview, just like the NFL do. They have y'all black men parading in and out their offices.
Yeah, they do.
Just for the quota. Just come see us. You could have sent your towel boy. Nobody would have known. Just have his shirt on that say you was with Tampa Bay. That's it. That's all I'm asking.
Was Tampa one of those 8 teams?
Yeah, they did not show up.
No, they a lot of teams didn't show up.
But my thing is, if Deion, if y'all were looking at him as a coach to coach your NFL team or be a part of your team, why you ain't bring yourself to come see what I'm doing?
My thing is with that, and I'm going to say that I stand behind Deion when he says, first of all, let me rephrase that. There were parts of his statement that I didn't agree with, other parts that I did agree with. The part that I did agree with was the fact that he says, I'm going to hold myself accountable because I need to have these young boys on a playing field or even terms with all these other major schools that y'all will want to come see them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what y'all are responsible for is when I do get them on the playing field to have y'all asses here to see them.
And I respect that.
You know,
get
so
that.
I love the fact that he took accountability for it. I think the fact that he went public with it and made a statement on national television about it, that you will see all 32 teams at the next
Starting
pro
to
day
come.
just based on who Deion Sanders is.
Right.
And then that he made that to a situation to where now everyone who's at HBCUs will be held accountable to say, you know what, Deion did the same thing. Let me make sure my players are on the same type of playing field, and we can all eat off this.
On that, if you follow that show, Deion had a lot of NFL coaches. Troy Aikman came through. Like, people stopped their day-to-day stuff to come see what he was doing. If Troy Aikman was coaching a college, you don't think those NFL
Absolutely.
teams would have shown up?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's my point. I don't care who, and he may not have had not one stud out there.
But
The
just
fact that who it was, they were coming to see them. But that's why I said, if you looking at Deion and y'all were talking about head coaching positions at USC, I'm sure they all was at USC senior day, they pro day. I'm sure they were, and USC ain't did crap since Reggie Bush and them left. So let's keep it a buck.
So your point counsel is
So-
sustained.
That's all I'm getting at. You going to all these different. You'll go run out to UCLA, and
Yeah.
UCLA ain't even been in a college football conversation. But you won't even come to Jackson State just to see what that man doing. The fact that he, even with the teams when they played those big schools, weren't getting blown out.
Yeah, that's
Give that
true.
man some shine. Like, give him a chance. Come see my boys.
I believe it's all on like the exposure that these HBCU needs.
Finally getting.
They need.
Yeah.
They need like that's not enough.
No, it's not.
They need way
No, but
more
we weren't
exposure
getting it
than
at
we get.
all. So you have to kind of take it and keep moving the needle forward. And that's what I like that Deion's doing. He's pushing the needle forward. And shoot, shout out. Like, first off,
They
I
gotta
went to
play some big
HBCU, but
teams.
I would tell you, I ain't never heard Jackson
too.
State ever. I used to think it was in Jacksonville somewhere. I never. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, that's real deal, because you only come across those people that were either in your conference or if they were making noises in those other conferences, you got to see them. So when Deion got to Jackson State, now you done brought in another NBA, another Cleveland Cavalier player. He is the coach for the basketball team.
Mo Williams.
So they're not scared stepping out there saying, I'm going to shoot my shot at you, because the worst you can tell me is no. I'm excited for the fact that Jackson State is doing that. Now other schools need to follow suit. It take a stamp just to send a letter to a kid that's a Division I recruit or a top 5 recruit. What's the worst he can do? Say I ain't going. He wasn't going anyway.
That's true.
Shoot your shot. You don't know what he would be doing.
And he probably have a even greater time
At-
at an HBCU.
I tell people that all the
You know,
time.
the thing
I can
is
tell
that
you
the only
that.
time you really even hear about HBCUs these days is through the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you won't hear them in football.
Yeah.
It's mostly basketball.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I tell you what, you check your local pharmacy wall, I guarantee you see a Florida A&M
Yep.
Rattler standing on that wall, because they
Oh, yeah.
pumping them out. That's a
Right.
pharmacy school. When they leave, like some of them,
That's
they
the
can't
number
get
one
in the
pharmacy
University
school
of
in the
Florida.
nation.
If you can't get in that pharmacy school in Florida, they going right to Tallahassee, because that's where the next best. Like, and I'm not saying that we're not in competition with the University of Florida. Some people just have a preference. Some people just you may prefer the big dorms and all this other stuff versus I like a little home cooking. I want to see my people, and it's something about being in that environment that makes you thrive and push you want to do better. You know, it's
the last
a
chance
different.
in your collegiate life. It's your last chance that you're going to be considered
Absolutely.
the majority versus the minority
Absolutely.
in the
Right.
real world.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a break for episode 38 of His, Hers, and Ours. This has been the sports segment. We're going to come back with some relationship and real life stuff on the next
Absolutely.
segment. This is His, Hers, and Ours. I'm Solomon Davis with.
Shannon Rail Davis.
We'll be right back.
Davis.
stepping out tonight. Dress fly, grab a little bite. Call to the bar, couple of drinks in, let me know what you're thinking. Leaving the scene, chemistry between. Seems to he that she be that queen. Don't know for sure, but let's go the next road. The best night to get more, so hold tight, don't let go. Come on and be with me forever. I want you all night long. Come on and be with me forever. I want you all night long. Netflix and the chill. The best bet and it's real. The chest letting it feel. The sex best and it's ill. The next session in this lesson, we've been sweating, spin the final from line, no Richie. It rhymes slow and I know it gives me the time, though, to shine. Oh, the smash on the spot, whoa, then ask her, can I go? All night long, I wanna be with you, babe, all night long. I wanna be with you, babe, all night long. I wanna be with you, babe, all night long. Come on and be with me forever. I want you all night long. Come on and be with me forever. I want you all night long. All night long. I wanna be with you, babe, all night long. I wanna be with you, babe, all night long. I wanna be with you, babe, all night long. Girl, we gon' end up making. Oh, girl, we gon' end up making. Hey, girl, we gon' end up making. Oh, girl, we gon' end up making. Oh, no.
We are back. Segment 2, episode 38 of His, Hers, and Ours, a real-life couple holding real-life conversations with real-life friends. I'm your co-host, Solomon Davis, with...
Shannon Royal Davis.
In Ohio Studios with the Surgeon General behind the ones and twos. Yeah! Joined, as always, by Alfie Santana and Rob Thomas. And we have special guests in, Cleveland natives as well. Miss Tanisha, Miss Pam. Glad to have y'all in studio.
Thank you.
Oh, they get the audience behind them. Look at them. Oh, is that the
That's
music
a-
driving? Oh,
That's
my
the
bad.
man
my bad.
back there doing repairs. Cut it out. Oh my gosh. Like it sound like some clapping.
Oh, okay.
Before you jump into your relationship, I gotta
Oh my
do the
goodness.
parent relationship.
We're
one
live
first.
now.
Apparently, shit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Remember I was gonna ask you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed out on
All
that.
right, so here we go. We're gonna jump into some relationship stuff, but this one is more of a parent relationship. But just want to explain a little background. A black woman went on to social media. We always got to broadcast what we doing. But anyway, she was saying how she took her son's father off child support. And she said
heard
it was
about
to
that.
better their relationship, for the betterment of their relationship. And then one of the things she said on that, she was like, look, she wanted him to help us.
Right.
And she said to help with her co-parenting situation.
Right.
So one of the things she said on there, she was like, she started looking up things for like his CDL license to help him get a truck in and all this other stuff. So I wanted to ask y'all, what's y'all thoughts on that? I know Rob. I'm gonna explain this over to Rob first because I know he in on this one. But go ahead, Rob. So tell me what you say.
Hey, listen.
She
She already know.
Look,
She already know.
Look, because you.
I was happy to hear her say some of the things, but then as a guy who's on, who understands the child support system,
Lord.
when she said, I went on and looked for CDL stuff in hopes that he would.
Is she raising him or the daddy?
She raising
The son
him.
and the son and him.
He's supposed to go on there and do that himself.
Okay.
Now, if you take me off, you take me like I got a CDL. And she said she giving the idea.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I want him to get a hauling business. I want him to do this. I want him to do that. But he ain't never say he wanted to do it.
And
You
that
don't
was
know what he
exactly
said.
my-
He wasn't on the telecast.
But she was saying what she
said
did.
she did it in
said
hopes.
She did it in hopes.
I understand,
So
but
that
that
mean
doesn't mean that they didn't have pillow talk. And he said, you know what?
Well,
I wanna
if he
Ain't
was
no
on
pillow
child support,
talk.
why would we pillow talk?
Wait.
If he on child support, why
Yeah,
would we
ain't
pillow
no-
talking? Because
we
baby, that
talking
could be
on the
coming
pillow.
directly into our house.
Hey, you know what? That can be.
I know people do that because of for benefit purposes,
man,
but it didn't
Well, that's
sound
what
like
she
they were
said.
doing
That
grinds
it's for a
my
benefit. She
gears.
said she wants to help them
Help us.
raise
with their
the child.
co-parenting situation. That means he
Right.
didn't live there because we ain't
Yeah.
co-parenting.
That's
We
what
living
I'm
under the
saying.
same
I was about to say, are
roof.
they living in the same roof?
Nah,
or
if
But
we're
I mean,
They live in
really,
separate-
really though, Rob, you gotta applaud her because
I
think
do.
about the females that always are trying to get over on
Absolutely.
brothers because of the child
Trust
support
me, I
system.
know. I know.
You-
Wait,
So listen,
go ahead. Oh, get started,
I'm a
Miss Pam.
person who has lived this entire story. So
Gotcha. Me
my
too.
when my ex-husband and I first separated, we made an agreement about what he was going to pay. I wrote down what I thought I would need. He wrote on a piece of paper what he could afford to pay. We pushed them to the middle, and we had the same exact amount.
Okay.
So fast forward about a couple months later, he started messing around with some girl, and whatever she said, he did. Right. Mm-hmm. Fast forward a little bit. I said, "Okay, I'm taking you to
'Cause
court."
I'm feeling
I
this.
took him
I'm
to
here.
court. I got him on child support because I wasn't trying to go back and forth. That
Really
type of
quick,
thing.
when you took him to court, was it in hopes of that same number that y'all had settled on?
Oh yeah, he went with me. As a matter of fact, we went together.
Okay.
Him and I
Y'all
went,
had a field
him and I,
trip.
him,
Okay.
right, him and I
What is-
went together. We went to no, we was in separate cars. And listen, I ain't even gonna tell you that part. But anyway, so we met at the courthouse. We sat in front of the person. They came up with a number that was much higher than what we had agreed upon, but I stood firm with the
What
number
it
that we
was.
agreed and we kept that number. And for like 2 years, I never had to ask him for anything. Like the money would come before,
The
It
due
was
date.
due.
before it was due, or it was supposed to be payroll deducted, and for like a couple months they didn't payroll deduct
that
it. So
catch it
he
up.
went down to the courthouse and told them, "Y'all supposed to payroll deduct this, and you haven't. You need to do it." So he got the ball rolling.
ahead,
He was on it.
And then another year later, I was like, you know what? We don't need them in our business. I wrote a letter, I got it notarized, and told him I wanted him to be taken off of child support. And that was
The biggest
probably 25 years ago.
mistake ever. Oh wow.
And I never, ever had to ask him for a dime.
But
I
there's
never
different-
asked him for a dime. We co-parent. He got remarried, the whole 9 yards. When I met his wife, I invited her into my home with her son, and that's how I met them. And then her and I was like this the 20 years that they was married until she got rest her soul. She was taken.
Oh,
she was
that's-
taken from him, and her son calls me Mama Pam.
Oh, okay, I love that.
You know what I mean? So
That's beautiful.
I took my husband off the child support and never had an issue ever.
So
Can I
that
say,
didn't
hold
work
on,
in
before
my
you say
favor.
anything, I'm going to say this to you, Pam. First of all, I applaud how that everything played out and worked out for you. I think it's a testimony to the generation that you're in, because this current generation,
Hello, somebody.
they don't view it that way. I mean, it's babies raising babies, and I'm trying to get as
And
much
that's a
money as I
control
possibly
issue,
can.
too.
And if you gonna have a baby with me and then not be here, and you're gonna be off with the next chick,
Okay. But I'll take. I
don't think that's
I don't think that's so far. I think there are some girls
Yeah,
here
yeah.
too that'll still be like,
He
"Oh, I'll
right.
take care of them by myself,"
He right.
and they don't put them on no child support. See, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
that
like my
one.
niece, Mimi.
So but that's not me. So I'm
My
gonna tell
daughter's
you
the
mine.
same
I'll
way.
share with you mine, because Solomon and I have an older child. That's our child because he helped me raise my baby. But when he came in the picture, my daughter was about 10 already. 10?
10 years
So
old.
yeah, 10 years old. So it was different. But for those first few years, my daughter's dad, we were all off at college. When you graduated, I didn't do none of that. I didn't put you on no child support, no nothing. It wasn't until you said that ain't yours. Oh, I got you, buddy. So now we don't want to act like it's yours. Okay, we go get that test. Here you go. Boom. I send it because I'm spiteful. I'm slick. Got your mama address, your grandma, your daddy, your girlfriend, her mama address. Because we all in college. We got buddies that work in the office. Okay, I got everybody's address. Everybody got them DNA tests. We all family now.
which
So
say when you stay petty, you ain't got to get petty.
Right. That's it.
Petty
That's
LaBelle.
it. That's it. But look, Petty LaBelle Senior. That's me. So then,
My
you know,
daughter's
we. So then we progress through this thing. You know, you come home from school or whatever, and you're working and you're doing whatever, and you live. My daughter's dad always lived about 10 minutes away from me. You ain't never lived that far, aside from when you was in college and we met in Gainesville to swap off the kid or whatever. And then I set up days for your parents to make sure that, because I'm a young mom too. 21. Look, I need help too. My family ain't gonna be stuck doing this. Y'all think y'all so wholesome and y'all holier than thou here. Everybody gonna have a day. Wednesday was his daddy day, so he picked up from school, and then on Fridays they rotated every other with his mom. It didn't matter to me. I was all about making sure everybody knew y'all thought so highly of your son, you gonna think highly of his baby.
Hello.
So this is how we functioning.
You preach.
So it was all fine and well for a minute. She all in school. He was going to private school or whatever, and you had no problem paying a little $300 or whatever a month, the tuition for. That was all I asked for. This tuition. That was it. Everything else I took care of. She's on my insurance. I took care of her hair appointments. Everything. Sports, dance, whatever.
You said,
I took care of everything. That was it. $300.
Man, shit.
So after a couple of years, when he's with his wife or whatever, and I knew who she was, and when she started having a kid, I like, hey, I want my baby to be a part. Make sure you send me those pictures so I can put them in her book. They gotta look like the books look at your house. They gotta look like that at my house. And so she and I became cool. That was fine. They get married. They move here, and they live again 7 minutes away, 7 lights away. It ain't that busy. You tell me, I ain't gonna be able to do that no more. Okay, so what you gonna do? Are y'all gonna pick up? You know, do you want to put on y'all insurance or something like that? Because that costs me. We looking about what makes it even for everybody.
Right.
Oh, no, I ain't going to even be able to do that. Well, how much you think you're going to be able to get? Oh, I think I give you $150.
What?
You was just paying $300. She got a college degree. You got a college degree. So ain't nobody working, no fast food jobs, ain't none of that. What you mean to tell me, so $150 is what you can do? And y'all got 2 incomes over there, and I'm at my own 1 income? Is that what we doing? Okay. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna be able to do. Okay, buddy. Since we can't come to an agreement here, and then I sat down. I said, let me write down everything that she does. She goes to her hair appointment every 2 weeks. Even if we stretched it out once a month, it don't matter. This is what we do. This is the standard I've created. This is what she's doing. Here are all her activities. And you mean to tell me $150 is all you can do? This is all the stuff I've been paying for without you. I'm talking about after school care. You want taking care of that, all the meals, everything that requires about that to sustain her life. That was me. Any extracurricular entertainment, eating out, whatever, travel, that was me. I asked you for nothing. Just take care of that school. Oh, no, I ain't gonna be able to do that. That $150. What? And then so how we gonna do this visitation? Oh, every other weekend. Oh, and I got her all the time, and this pretty much it. So what I did was I was like, okay, buddy. I said, so I'm gonna let the courts decide this, because obviously y'all got 2 incomes. Y'all married. I'm single. So y'all figure that out over there.
I got a question. Is that true? Like, you get married?
Yeah, they count.
And they count both of you?
Yes.
Oh, no, I ain't getting married. So I'm 53.
Actually, they didn't do that for me. When Nia was coming up, Nia is 24 now, and she's going to school to be a doctor. And her father does not participate in her life. And me and my child argue now because her father is still paying $300 for child support. And she's like, Mom, Dad don't feel well. So I said, well, if he had to pay his child support when you was little, he wouldn't be paying his child support now. But when I divorced him, they gave me $700 in child support and wanted to give me spousal support. I was like, you know what? I don't need your spousal support.
Just take care of my baby.
I just need you to take care of your child.
Absolutely.
And so while I was working selling cars, I was like, you know what? I can cut this back. I just need her to be on your insurance. And, you know, you can give me $300. I'm trying to help him out. But he remarried this wife who, even now to this day, dropped the doggone. My daughter had a car while she was in undergrad. And I just went by the house to drop, in Cleveland, Ohio. I live in Tampa. Went by the house to drop off the doggone car registration to her dad because he has the car. And I get a text message from her talking about, if you come to my house again, we going to have to call the law. You know what? You guys are jacked up. And I wish I can go back and get my $700. But I can't.
Extra.
So even with mine, So when we went to court, he was paying that or whatever the case may be. The judge even said at that time, after like a couple of years, he started getting on board. So he was on child support. So we went to mediation, everything else, and I decided to take him off because he was being consistent. And you were getting your kid from Wednesday to Friday, and we rotated those weeks and doing all that stuff. And his wife was even involved. Like we never had no issues, me and his wife. It was to the point my daughter's like, when they got married, she was like, "Hey, Mom, I think I love her." I said, "Me too, girl. I love her too." And I wanted her to understand that it was okay and it's normal. And I want her to feel that way about you because that way I know she's going to take care of you.
Right.
I agree
The
with
wife
that.
did the same thing the whole time. So long story short, he stopped working. He wanted to do his own thing. He trying to figure himself out. But you up here acting like you balling and doing all this stuff, and we over here,
Struggling.
not necessarily struggling because I can't say we ever like really hit like a point where we struggled. But the fact that you felt no responsibility towards your kid,
Right.
you even stopped skipping the weekends because now I'm dating somebody and he's picking up these slacks and we traveling and doing all this stuff and we're playing AAU softball and basketball, and this is like $200 a month for basketball, and God knows with softball how much it was because we were traveling and buying bats that cost $375.
Right.
Man,
Like it was
a
just
bat
a lot of
Man, I see the
we
price
were.
tag on them
It was
things.
in Solomon
Good
now. He
Lord.
customizing gloves and shoes, all kind of stuff. So we traveling, and because you was like, "Oh nah, I ain't gonna be able to do all that." That's what your mama do over there. So it was times where you only went over there for 2 or 3 hours on a Friday because you was going to a high school, a football game because Solomon was mentoring somebody. We went to a football game that Friday night, dropped you off. We had to come back over there Saturday morning or just get to the field by Saturday afternoon because that's where he's dropping you off at. He not even keeping you no more like that. So it was nothing. So then I was like, you know what? Buddy, you can't even seem to get this together. You ain't paying nothing. You ain't even seeing about her. We going back to these folks because I figure you. He was like, well, so we went to court. The judge tried to give me based on his wife and his income. He said, "Oh, she college educated? Yeah." "Oh, okay. And you
Right.
too? Oh, okay. And you working?" And at this time, I had just left my job, so I was like, "Nah, I'm not working, but we good. We okay." They don't know my situation because I always was one step ahead anyway. So he was like, "All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and make that child support $800." I said, "Sir,
Ooh.
all I want," I said, "Sir, all I want
that
is
hurt.
all I want is for him to pay $375. Because if
Right.
you ask him to pay anything else, I'll never see that, and he'll be up forever. You arrest him,
He'll
take
stop
his license.
working.
He won't be doing nothing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking you for. So
I'm a-
while we going through these periods of time, every now and then he want to scratch off. He told me, "Tell your mama Merry Christmas," because I sure got that scratch off money because you went to go cash it.
Right.
Yeah, we got them $1,500. Appreciate you, bruh. And as when it hits her card, I always made sure she was able to do whatever she wanted to because that was her money. If it was a softball tournament, we paid for the hotels and stuff. Here it is, and she gets to keep the extra because that's like technically it was for her, and I never wanted it for us because she was always going to be okay. But that was what we had to go through. If you would have just done what I asked you in the beginning, we would have never had to go back and get back on our child support.
I agree with
They don't
that.
make any. They don't make no Shannons.
But
They
no
don't make no
Pam,
Pams.
no
They
Tanisha.
don't make no Tanishas. Where were y'all in 1990, whatever? Because I always had to deal with, okay, well, you ain't going to be happy with the next
Okay.
beat,
Wow. Okay.
right? I know that I was the type of father that I would do whatever. I mean, y'all see what I do. I'm going to go work. I'm going to go do whatever for my
Right.
kids. I'm going to lose my mind for my kids. There's no reason why I had to be on it.
Right.
Because I'm going to do what I got to do. We could have took the Pam route and sat there and negotiated
it out.
what we need. Because I don't really want to deal with them because I see the way they look at us.
Right.
You know, and when I went, like there was one time I went in there and I didn't, my last 3 kids, Mom, I didn't even know that she put me on child support.
Oh wow.
I
So
was
they
in there
went
for
back.
my divorce.
Oh wow.
Right? And the judge sitting across from me telling me, "Oh, well, Mr. Thomas, you know, white, looking at me. She's like, here you are, this lady saying that you ain't paying her no money, and you just had a kid with another lady, and here she got you
She
on
done
child.
gave the business.
I didn't even know. So on top of that, she hit me for another $150, so I'm paying like $600 for one child.
Oh jeez.
I paid that for 3.
Yeah.
So I know y'all ran me across the
Understood.
table. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, and then I could see how men could like snap.
Right.
So when my ex-wife walked out the building, I went to the stairwell, and I just stayed there for 30 minutes. to give her time to leave.
Because you wanted to
'Cause
get
I
her.
was
You
thinking,
was,
like-
I can hurt her right now.
But I wasn't really mad
Yeah.
at her. I was mad at the fact that I'm with this lady and you
Right.
went down here and,
And
you
put
telling
this
them
on-
I ain't-
yeah.
So now I can't even look at. I don't see you in that light though.
Right.
So it's like now
So
I'm looking
Rob,
out
let me
the
ask you
window.
this because I mean personally I haven't been through it, but going through
Thank God.
thank
Yeah,
God,
thank
knock
God.
on wood. Going through the judicial process and all of this.
Mhm.
When a judge steps to you and says, "Hey, you know, you haven't paid anything towards these. Now you got this female over here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way you could have represented yourself, or your attorney represent you to say, "Hey,
What
I'm gonna
attorney?
tell every
well,
man.
yourself
Yeah,
then.
no,
This
you
is
go
what
to
I'm
the
doing."
Here's the
I
thing.
would tell every man if you are involved in a child support
You need
issue,
attorney.
have you an
You got
attorney.
the document.
You
You
need
need
an
you an attorney. You don't.
Without what I know
How about
now.
you just need receipts?
well, yeah,
Because,
yeah.
I mean-
everything's a gift if you
But
don't.
if I come over to your place, let's say we had a kid and what have you, and I come to your place and say, here's $250. This is what I
You
got
can
right
have a
now.
receipt book.
Okay.
Because I look at Pam and her situation
Mm-hmm.
with her kids, and I'm just gonna talk briefly about Demetrius' couch. When Pam was like, "Well, Meech is getting ready to get his own apartment, babe. What you got on this?" She didn't call him babe, but
What do you
got
have on this couch? Dad,
He
some
was-
of them stop because
he
he's
was
an
like,
adult.
"Oh," he was like,
grown.
"Well, let's do half on that." Well, what you getting? What you getting? Okay, then we can get this couch or whatever, and he can have what he get. So they
There's some-
parenting
but-
still,
Right.
and this is a young
That's
adult.
good.
This is like recent. So
Right.
Yeah.
My kids are 33 and 30.
Y'all still doing it.
And so
And still
right.
doing it.
So
That's because he had the mentality of always being a daddy. He ain't gonna stop being a daddy.
right. So as far as being a provider, so he will always take care of what he's supposed to take
Gotcha.
care of. Even like I said, to this day, and last year 2 years ago when my son moved out and got his own place, you know, I called him up and I said, "Hey, we did this for Chanel. I want to get him a sectional. You okay?" He said, "Oh yeah, we can split the cost." I had the credit card. We went shopping. We bought him what he needed, and I gave him access to the account, and he logged into the account
And did it.
and paid it.
That's
and
sweet.
in between the two
But-
of us, we
Right.
There's a
We
lot of
need to
dads
get in
that
the
have,
couch.
but look, there's a lot of dads that have
Need to get a
disconnects
toothbrush.
after them children.
Okay,
Like
Daddy.
when those children turn 18, that's it. Like a lot of dads do that.
Right, but you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
And so he's disconnected in a way as far as the relationship,
But as far as
but
provider,
as far
he
as
still
being
provide.
provider, yeah. Being
That's
a-
one thing. That's why I said I was only like when I had that first kid. I was like, my prayer was, Lord, please don't let me be nobody else's baby mama. I don't
Okay.
want to be nobody
Listen,
else's baby
I'm
mama.
glad
I
didn't go
only
through
I am
date
not
men
doing
that
that.
don't have children.
Yeah.
I'm a
You know what? And me, talking about that, it's hard
They
to
gotta be
find,
grown.
Like, I just turned 59, right? So it's hard to find anybody in my age bracket.
That doesn't
that
happen.
don't have them. Yeah.
But I'm finding, a man in his late 50s, 60s, and you got a 2-year-old.
Solomon, don't talk about Solomon like that,
Like,
Pam. Solomon is 44.
43.
He'll be 44, and he got a 4-year-old. So that's
Well,
the
that
thing.
ain't
So
as
if this don't work out, and he out here in these streets, he got to go to her. Hey, baby, I know you like to travel, but we gonna have to figure out these arrangements with this 4-year-old, this
Hey,
5-year-old.
you better lay on the table, baby.
60-year-old.
Better do what I did. Lay on the table, brother.
Daycare and diapers, and I'm trying to get on a plane
Right.
and travel and
Yeah,
Right.
I ain't trying to do that.
But see, well, the same thing you
Let's
just said. Let's transition.
Why the hell she
Transition from
disqualifying the
this.
brothers?
Why
Nigga.
you're saying that you won't date a guy right now that doesn't have kids? But we've had this conversation on this podcast
Yeah, we
so many
have.
times. Before I had my daughter at 40 years old, there are so many women that looked at me saying, "He ain't married. He don't have any kids at 40 years old.
What's
What's wrong with him?"
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
I don't mean don't have kids. I mean these kids got to be grown and out the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I
Messing
mean.
up her
Oh,
time.
oh.
Because
She don't want no little kids.
I don't want any little kids. I don't want the responsibility. I don't. I'm a brat, and I don't want you to tell me no.
Gotcha. Understood. No, I got you. No, I get that.
She don't wanna
You're
hear
in a
no.
space where that's where you want to be at, and you want to
I
be
wanna
able to
go.
do that.
Baby, I want to go to Brazil. No, why? Because I got a kid.
Yeah, I get you.
My guess is Tokyo. You get there eventually.
Either way.
But whatever it is, she
Tokyo.
don't want a kid to hold her up. And I can
Right.
understand that. And that's a preference. And that's something that you
I hear that
have
a lot,
designed
though.
in that way. But that's...
Even out here in the dating streets, you hear that. a
You
lot.
in the
No,
streets,
can
so
I
they
love
want
a kid? I can absolutely
want.
love kids. I love kids, and I would love on a kid. I love on so many people's kids. I promise you, I'm gonna spend my last dime on a kid. But I don't want that to be the difference between me going
And having a
across
good time.
seas
Yeah.
or taking a plane or
And being able to
whatever.
enjoy.
And and then I mean I wrote I'm a poet, so I do a lot of writing.
Yeah.
There was a guy I was dating, and he doled his daughter too much.
Oh,
and
you
and
dope.
we were having sex, and he was like, Kendall likes hamburgers.
What?
That's
Oh,
what I said.
man,
I'm like, wait a minute.
Why y'all was?
Like, y'all talking
Yeah.
about hamburgers.
How the hell you get hamburgers?
He's like,
from-
I don't know. I was like, I'm
Obsession.
there.
Girl, it was good to
Fucking
him. He
naked.
was thinking about
Oh,
food.
Lord,
you had him
girl.
thinking about food. He was trying to feed his
fucking
soul
naked.
and
I
his
get it.
body.
And his baby.
It was a burger. He was thinking
Right.
about it.
And,
Right.
I mean, but it was like everything that we talked about. I was like,
man.
you know what? We should go. Kendall likes bowling.
Oh, my God.
I was like, you know what? And Kendall was beautiful. She was the most beautiful, most talented. She ran track. This girl was straight A's. This child was perfect.
A good kid.
I ain't like
really.
Kendall.
Yeah. And it wasn't nothing to get that she did. It was just the fact that how he
Kendall
was. He
take
was
up too
doting.
much of my space.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
Absolutely. So we can transition into that. Or you want to take this break and then
No,
come
let's
back
keep
another
on
part?
going because the question I had coming into the segment was, in starting a new relationship or starting to date someone, who do you feel puts on the best front? Meaning that once you meet them or once
You
you
gotta
got
peel
that
back
interest
them
in them, you
layers.
start peeling them layers. Like, dude, that ain't the person that I met. Do women hide themselves in order to put on a front for
Ooh,
men?
look, Miss Pam, go ahead. Miss Pam got ready. Go ahead.
I think it's too much.
Who's dating?
Who's
People
dating?
don't date anymore.
So what?
date.
So
People don't date anymore.
you don't think people
I
date? So what they
I
do?
can't tell you the last time I've been on a
Old
date.
school.
So what they do? So you miss the courting and the dating part of when you're meeting people.
Oh.
Do you miss
It
that
doesn't
part?
happen anymore. People are so out here trying to attach themselves to somebody. As
I
soon as you
gotcha.
meet somebody, it's like, oh, maybe they're the one, and then you get jam up and jelly tight, and then you look
Jammed
6
up
months.
and jelly tight. I like that.
Then you look 6 months down the road, and you realize that not only do you not know this person that well, you don't even like what you do
person.
know. But
So-
you guys, you let that initial attraction or whatever it was that drew you to that person, and it caused you guys to just
Jail. Yeah.
right instantly.
I'm a chronic
And-
dater,
and it's
so
like-
I don't agree.
It's like instantly. So people,
I
yeah.
am chronic.
Do you feel but what you just said is a byproduct of people just not wanting to be alone?
No, I'm
Yes.
saying people don't date anymore. People are out here just trying to find somebody to hook up with or whatever the case may be. Right.
Well, rent is high, honey. Inflation, okay, baby.
Yeah.
I'm the 1%.
Yeah, but they gotta understand that a hookup is just a hookup. That don't mean there's feelings behind it. Right? We just be having a good time when
Well,
we're doing
we
what we're
don't want to
doing.
just hook up. I want to date. I want a whole date. I want dinner. I want dancing. I don't watch movies. I go to sleep.
Okay.
What's the whole date? Yeah, I want to hear.
Yeah,
it.
what is
What's
it?
your definition
Well,
of a date?
Dinner,
Yeah.
dancing.
Go ahead,
Yeah, I like-
tell
I like-
us. What's the
I like-
definition
I
of a
went on
date?
a date
Like
yesterday, and
She
Oh,
said
yeah, you
yesterday.
know.
Go ahead.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we in
Go.
tune now.
That can.
Yeah.
We look. We
we
gonna
in
finna
tune
bust
now.
this
Go
can wide
ahead.
open. It's finna be like some
Yeah.
like biscuits. Go ahead
Yeah.
and we finna bust it
Change
right
the
open.
name.
God.
Change the name.
And so this guy, he's a professional guy. He is an assistant principal. He's a good-looking guy. He dressed well.
So he checking these physical boxes first.
Right. So, and I met him. I met him about a month ago. We talked on the phone, like maybe every other day or so, just 10 minutes.
Relevancy.
Don't know a whole lot
Okay.
about him. But he flew in yesterday, so I went.
Oh, he
and
flew in?
Yeah, he flew in
Amen.
He catching flights.
Catching
All right,
flights,
baby.
huh?
from North
Catching flights.
Carolina.
Flew there.
He flew there.
Yeah. No.
I know you-
Wait, time out.
She's like, oh no, hell no.
But he came in and he was very light. You know, the conversation flowed. We went to dinner. We went to Bahama Breeze. That was great.
Place.
It wasn't like you could
That was
only
casual.
But see that's another dating story. I have to get to that one later. But I could pick whatever I wanted off the menu. It wasn't like he was like, I'm balling on a budget and you can only have this.
Right.
And then we transitioned to the next spot.
Oh, the sigh
I
is
can
when it
sense-
turns. She said,
To sense your anger.
And there was no anger. There's confusion.
transfer it to the next spot.
Confusion.
Confusion.
So you transitioned to the next spot,
Were you
and,
confused, or was
and
it?
he knew the. Well, you thought you gave him the assignment,
he
but was it
failed.
an epic fail?
He bought drinks and it was great. It took all night to get to. Okay, so we all grown here, so we went to Secrets Hideaway, and
Yeah, we
Okay, I
look.
can see where this is going to go rapidly down the road.
Well, let's see. Let's see. In
in Orlando.
It's Orlando, man.
Yeah, you.
And
It's the equivalent
Hey,
to what we got here.
hey, you on child support. Stay away from that.
See, us young
I
folks.
still got a little change in my
You on
pocket.
child support.
It's
Stay away
basically,
from that.
and it's basically equivalent of our Eyes
Eyes
Wide
Wide
Shut.
but I think it's supposed to be better.
If you
it
wanna
is.
go really
It's great.
good,
It's
Kelly,
really.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm in there now.
And
No,
so,
you're not.
you know, as we transitioned through the evening, we danced, and he said this was the most he danced all night, and he really was having a good time. And, you know, so we got to the point where, okay, let's
Let's get
see
to
with the
business.
physical.
Let's see.
Let's have some fun.
The physical went good, huh? They're shaking of the
First
head.
of all, lizard kissing does not work, fellas.
I need you to clearly define that.
Yeah.
I need
You
to
got my
clearly
my
define that for
producer
me.
there. That's why
Yeah.
he never says what.
What's the lizard
What is
kiss?
a lizard kiss?
These look.
Oh, okay. Man, if y'all can see that face.
Like,
That is
That
not
old-
the move. That ain't the move.
I think he
Or is
thought
it
he
just-
was passionate because he closed his eyes.
Oh,
Oh, he was in it with the lizard kiss.
fucked up,
Frank.
wherever you are, you fucked up. Lizard
So
kiss.
then it's a lizard kiss.
I'm
And
definitely
then
gonna
what-
yo.
So and you proceeded to go further. See, so for me, I'm like, you got to catch these signs. The lizard kissing was a red flag already. So my rose-colored glasses was starting to turn up like this, so I could really see you, bro.
I wanna know
Like
what
that was the
happened
red
after the
flag right there.
lizard-
So then after the lizard kissing,
We were already there on the mat, so
Okay.
oh, yeah.
On the
I
top.
went ahead and let him go south.
Okay.
He was still a lizard.
see, that
Oh.
would
Oh,
have
hell
been
no,
that
man.
thing.
Sorry.
He got to come to anyway.
So that was an
gotta
epic
come
fail.
to the class.
That was so. I'm gonna be honest. What
Wait a minute,
the
no.
kissing part? I'm not such a big person because I don't necessarily prefer all the kissing. I mean, I know
Yeah,
how to
I
kiss,
need-
and that's okay for me.
I
Don't
need
get me
that pat.
wrong,
We-
but
we
that
talked
would have been
about
a
that
sign for
already.
me already. That would have been a sign for me already. I can kiss. It's not a problem, but it's not a requirement. But when you go south and you don't know what you're doing, you won't even make it
I
to
made
take
my
your
own manual
pants
for
off
that,
with me. Like at that point, it's like
Well,
it's a
his
no
pants
for
was
me.
off because you can't go in there with clothes
Yeah, I
on,
get
so
you.
It was,
Okay.
it was already off.
But he just wasn't even able to.
But then it never saluted.
Solidified?
Oh, no. He never was able to
Solidified?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and
get-
girls.
maintain an erection, son.
He,
We have a failure to
yeah,
launch.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It exploded.
I don't
anyway.
know. I'm not no man, but I heard like that sometimes can happen. I like got excitement
It
or maybe
can.
too
It
many
does.
drinks.
It can, but at the same time,
It doesn't need one drink. I'm going to explain
Did he
why.
have another drink?
What? I'm sorry.
Was he drinking before? Maybe he drank on the fly.
He did not. I'm not a big drinker. He's not a big drinker. We did not drink. We
Okay.
did not drink. We did not smoke. We did not have any
I'm
extra
trying to think.
anything. There
Maybe
was
he had a
nothing.
gummy
Some
before he got
edibles?
his
He didn't have no
flight.
gummies.
Oh wow.
No.
No edibles.
so he didn't.
No injections?
He's a.
Maybe he
first
was
of all,
just
he was
overly
Wait,
excited
how
that
old
he
is- how
finally
old is
got
he?
you in that space, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe
can't
she-
believe this is
We
happening.
didn't get there, and we arrived at the place at 8:45 p.m. By the time we were on the mat and trying to,
Close the
you know,
deal.
it
Was it other
was
people? Maybe
1
because,
o'clock.
like, you know,
He
in
was
those
too
spaces,
excited.
people are around, so maybe it was other people.
But
Performance
if you
anxiety.
if
Yeah.
you like to hang out at places like that and
You got to be prepared for that.
You have to
I
bring your
get you,
A
fam.
game.
Y'all heard Miss Pam.
So, but chronically dating, I don't want to do dates like that. You know,
Okay.
where they epically fail. I hate failed dates.
So for me, that would be like a no call, no show. Like you won't call. I won't. You
Right,
won't get
I'm
a call.
supposed to
a
see him
second
this
call. You know how they
evening,
get
and
and they
I'm
get
like,
a
You
call
won't
for
get no
another
call
table
back.
read. You do not get a call back
Hey,
on a table read. I am
listen,
done.
your last
You're fired.
audition did
Yeah.
not work out.
And then
Yeah.
I know
We're gonna
that
go
he,
in another direction.
he felt like it failed because he was like, "Here's $100 for gas." I said, "Oh, that's way too much for gas." He was
No,
like,
that-
"Oh,
Well,
that's
now
okay."
No, it ain't.
that's see now that got dark.
No,
really
it
fast
ain't.
because,
No,
like,
he
now
wanted
she's
to make. He trying to make
No,
up because he
no.
feel like he wasted her
No,
night.
number
No,
one,
but then
But
I don't want.
She got to drive back to Tampa. Or
What I'm saying is,
you give somebody that kind of
to
money.
feel like
Yeah, that's feel.
This is a man trying to tell us how a man was.
yeah,
okay,
Right.
true. Let me.
Go ahead.
I don't want to see that.
You, well, you're the man that's telling us, so you can't say
I mean,
go ahead.
I
Yeah, I'm
understand.
gonna
I
tell you.
understand psychology
I
behind
already
it,
know.
but I don't want her to feel like a
Number-
floozy or whatever. Like she was.
That's was really what he was saying.
That's where I'm like, oh shit, no, don't do that.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't have gave you $100.
You would have
Because-
took her to the gas
because-
station, got
yeah.
some gas for her?
Come on,
Either
'cause I don't
I'm
want her
gonna
feeling
follow
like,
you
you know,
there
hey,
and
I'm
give you
sorry.
give it. Do it that way.
I picked him up
But
from the
I-
airport, so
you-
he was in my car.
Okay.
From here
Okay,
to
so-
Orlando
Sanford,
going
yeah.
in here.
Well, then,
Oh.
see, maybe that piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Took him to Clearwater.
So on that note,
Yeah.
I still.
Right. He.
All right, let me give old boy the benefit of the doubt here and
yeah.
clarify
I was
this.
trying
Because
to
doubt
help him
is
out.
reign-
Hold on.
doubt
Let
is
me give him the
reigning in the
benefit
room.
of the doubt.
Help him out, son. He need help, man.
First of
damn
all,
sure
I don't think I would have given you any money because
that's a bad
I
one.
think at that point in time,
It would have looked.
if that would have happened to me, I knew that I needed a chance to redeem
He should have
myself.
went and got a Red Bull.
Me giving you the money, me giving you the money makes it seem as if
That's it.
That's it. It's over with.
It's a transaction.
No, I know that. Hey, if it happened, that was one time. I'm gonna get the opportunity to redeem myself. Now, what he could have been thinking was, listen, we've been talking on the phone a couple weeks. We have been planning this, that, and the other. You could have been just as excited as I was for the evening, and the fact that I didn't meet your expectations, knowing that you drove over here to pick me up, know that you're driving me back, another 50, 60 miles to Clearwater to do whatever.
Yeah.
I understand time is money, gas ain't cheap. This is me showing you I appreciate you. But under no circumstance whatsoever am I saying, hey, this is over, because like I said, I'm going to get that opportunity to redeem myself and show you what you should have gotten that night.
Yeah.
So,
Some
I mean-
women let you do that
He
because,
had
bro,
performance-
You know what?
you
he
know
had
your
performance
wife, your
anxiety.
girl be like, first time, this is our
No,
audition.
but the thing
This
is,
is a straight audition.
Can-
You
It's
ain't
one of
even-
those.
If I step in
you
the
may not
girls'
get a call
realm,
back at all.
I'm going to say this. It's a demoralizing moment for a man when that happens.
yeah, it is.
Like,
Yeah, but you got to be on your grown man
I know
stats and
what I'm
understand that
saying.
shit happens.
if that happens, and then it's like when that happens, like some people were like, okay, whatever. Some guys are like, oh shit,
Hold on, Alfie.
and like you're just.
But I can't sit there with you wallowing
That's
in
it
that.
right there.
Yeah.
Environment that they were in.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was sexual
It's a
environment.
very
Sexual,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have never said let's go there if I
Well,
wasn't.
the first time that
in
I
that game.
met him, I was actually at Eyes Wide Shut. And when we were at Eyes Wide Shut, I pulled up in the parking lot. I was meeting
I like
somebody else. And he was like, "Are you here alone?" I said, "No, I'm
tell them
meeting
you
some
gonna call him
friends." And
That's child support people coming
he was
for you.
like,
Yeah,
well,
it hurt me.
he was like, it benefits me and you if we walk in here together. So he walked
Exactly.
in
It does.
to
Because it ain't no cheap if a single guy goes in there. I'm telling you that.
Yeah,
right
Yeah.
now.
A
Yeah.
couple's
A
rate is
couple can go
cheaper.
in for, like,
Or
maybe
even
$60.
women.
Never
And
been
even
A single
women.
woman going for 20, a guy $175.
right.
Look, you talk like you
And
know.
so
Oh, I know. Trust me.
They probably got his VIP picture on the wall.
I was not trying to trigger your brother.
Nah, I don't care.
I've never been.
One issue I have with these
I've,
environments.
yeah, me and
I'm
my
living
husband.
under a damn
So
rock.
that's why I tell y'all the beauty
You
in
have to have
us
a
is
female friend
this
that
is
you
my
trust
this
to
my
live with us
dude.
like
Like we friends before before anything else.
I
was,
need
like,
so-
we
I-
were friends.
I need a
So to
friend,
be
man.
able to go in different spaces, like to go sit at a strip club or whatever, and to go sit in these different spots, like you have to be
Y'all gotta be
not
homies.
necessarily, but be like cool with each.
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all gotta
like
be
you're
homies,
looking for that thrill together. It's
Right.
nothing, and And you know there's something like we've done all kind of crazy stuff. Like I enjoy my husband, but that's the partner that I have. Like that's somebody like I can go, okay, hey, we gonna go here, let's try this. Or sometimes he'll ask me to go somewhere, I'm like, nah, buddy, and I say no just off rip first.
That's a hard no.
So you got it's not even a hard
No,
no.
you just
It's
gotta
just
let
you
her
gotta
think
let
about
me
it, then
think
come
about it
back
and
and then
process.
family.
And yeah, that's me because I'm out.
talk about
Exactly.
We do, because he'll ask me something, I'm like, nope. Nah, and he'll keep talking to me about it, and he'll tell me, and it's not like he's forcing it on me. He'll be like, so, and then I'll be like, okay, well, let me ask him, well, what about this? You know, such and such, and boom, and he'll be like, okay, cool. So it was fine, like that's fine. My mom knows that I'm probably her kid that just thinks totally out of the box. I used to tell her how like one time I went to the sex store and I think I saw a lady from our church and I was hiding, and I was like, Mama,
Jones,
I
what you
swear I
doing
think
here,
I
girl?
seen Sister so and so that she talking about for real.
Yeah,
and my mom was just so cool about it. She was just like, well, why were you on the ground ducking?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
I was like, because I didn't want her to come tell you. She said, but if she had to come tell me, that means she got to tell me she was in there. But my little crazy self wasn't processing it like that. She was like, don't
Yeah, you
ever
know-
be
you know I
embarrassed
saw
about
your
wherever
daughter
you
in
choose to
Todd.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like my car had broke down. That's what it was to me. And I had my sister and my brother-in-law at the time. He was just my sister's boyfriend, and we all ran over there. And I said, the car broke down by the Tods, and we went in the Todd.
Oh my God.
Man, and my mom is like, and you had your siblings with you? I said, yup. And so she was like, oh, y'all were in there. So we were just having
Life
like
happens.
we made a field trip. But my mom was willing to come
Sorry,
get
so
us up
it's
there.
a
You know,
place
she had to
for them
come
to go
get
in there.
us. But that was just, I say all of that just to say
do
like,
have a section
you
for
when
men.
you go into those places, you know what you're going to do.
Right.
You have to have a open mind and the courage to do right and be okay with that. So when him being in that environment, I wonder if he wasn't as
The first
prepared as he
time
thought
we
he was.
didn't. We didn't do anything the first time because we went into Eyes Wide Shut as voyeurs. So when he joined, because he never left my side, you know, after we entered Eyes Wide Shut, he mingled with all the people that I met there, and you know,
Y'all had just met in the parking lot. Oh, that's so
just
funny.
met in the parking lot, and which I thought was really cool that you can meet somebody in a parking lot and you can still be friends on the
And
phone
be all right,
and
yeah.
talk later. And it was just his whole vibe that he was able to plant himself amongst some other friends and stuff like that. We went into the dungeon chamber and we played around in there, but there was no sexual activity.
Yeah, right.
And so he and I had talked on the phone, and I was like, it was really weird that they didn't get down. You know, because I was expecting that it was going to go somewhere, but it was that crowd that decided that they were only there to watch other people and enjoy each other's company, shoot pool, have some drinks, dance, you know, whatever. And so
This ain't all about sex, buddy. There's actually food and alcohol.
It's cool alcohol in there.
Shoot, man,
They be having prizes
Man,
and
I'm-
stuff
I'm-
for like
I'm-
games.
I'm in the house. I need to get out.
right.
You.
And so
But take your
to
homegirl
create
with
a
you.
Yeah,
new
I got it.
date.
Yeah, maybe the day, if you think about it, just to give him maybe the benefit of the doubt, right? So he was traveling, right? Traveling
The
is
fatigue.
exhausting.
Oh yeah.
And so if you figure, I mean, if he was on a Legion, and no telling he had a, if he had a
Near-death experience. A near-death
he could
experience.
have had a layover. Like you know, when you travel, you
He
get
didn't
up
have
in
a
the
layover.
wee hours
It
of the
could have been
morning.
turbulence,
Right,
and
but I'm
everything
just saying,
is
it was
scares
a
you.
long
that
day.
jet lag.
It was
Just
like
so
a
you
long day.
No, he can't.
Maybe
have
he
that
was just
lag coming from
exhausted.
where he-
I don't know. I feel like men always want to have sex, so
That's not true. That's not
Look, you
So
say
look
that
at-
until
so
you
it's
live
like
with them.
this.
You say that until you
It's-
live with them.
It's
Some of us
a
actually-
mind and body thing. Your mind might be saying, "Yeah, I'm on it," but
Yeah.
your body is like, "Hey, dude, I just ain't doing it right now."
Right.
I got one thing though. For what he should have done, like if there's a chance that you're not gonna perform in one area.
But how you gonna tell her that
he
you in this
wasted
sexual
2
environment?
condoms.
And
It's
you
like,
done-
why even put the condom on if you know you ain't going nowhere?
Oh,
He put
jeez.
2?
He wasted 2
So-
condoms.
so-
He tried twice.
Oh, he
tried.
So how did you try to assist
Yeah, it
him?
ain't-
How did I
Did
try
you, did you try to
It ain't
assist
going
him with
there.
his
There was a little
arousal?
sheet over my body, and I said, let's just lay here and cuddle. But he kept doing this to me.
Oh God, I
Oh, hell
can't
no.
with him. Yeah, he's missing. The lizard kiss
Listen,
is too much.
When I see her do that,
Much for me. I'm
she said,
right.
"Wait a
I'm
minute."
telling you, I think
Hold
so.
on.
For me, like I said, the,
So he
the
lives-
lizard kisses was a telltale first and foremost because
Hey.
if your tongue move like that, I don't have any expectation
He
that
ha-
they're
he don't
gonna
have
move
no
any
kid,
other
though.
way.
He has a son.
One.
16-year-old.
One son.
Ow.
Time out. Maybe the person that he with,
Nah.
he
He
was
was
with that
comfortable enough
kid,
to
and
with
he
the
was
police.
comfortable.
Nah,
Like that was
how-
awesome to
how old
her.
is he?
And he's a good father because he has custody of that kid, so he's
Okay.
raising that kid by
Okay,
himself.
okay.
So professional, good looking, dressed well, great dad, no sex. All right.
Ball game.
Is that
over.
a deal breaker if you wanted to continue today?
that's a break.
Okay, just asking.
I like
Just
that.
asking.
He's
She
honest.
said that's a
I'm,
deal.
no,
She's
I'm for
honest.
real.
She
That's
said, she say, hey, you coming
Is
there
she
doing
saying the
the...
same thing I said? Like,
If
if
we're
it
on
was
this
bad
place,
sex,
wait.
I'm not in a
Do the
place where I'm
tongue.
gonna
Do
teach
the
you how to
tongue
have
exam.
good sex.
I gotta see it.
That's like a cat.
No.
Hey, that's almost like you don't want to
Hold
do
on,
it.
Really?
Slide
Oh,
the mic,
Pam,
slide the
slide
mic.
that to Pam, because I didn't
I
understand.
think a lot of that depends on like where you are. We was just talking about this on the way. On
Yeah,
the way
Pam, because
over
you got
here.
to speak up. I'm gonna sit up and speak to this.
Well,
young baby, 'cause
well-
I need you.
All right, so
So bad sex is not a deal breaker at certain places in your life. Like at all the places I live at, that ain't at my address. That is not at my address.
when I think back of my sexual history, like I said, I'm just turned 59. Right?
Okay. Oh, black
I
on
could
crack, go ahead,
probably count on these two hands how many times I've had a full blown orgasm.
Well, you gonna have to get your feet out, mine. And
Okay.
everybody- like that's my life.
You
right
know what
there.
I'm
Like,
saying? So you know what I mean? So
I love this.
you'd be surprised what you become accustomed to.
Okay.
Right? And so for me, it's more about a connection that we have. It doesn't have nothing to do with the physical
Right.
part at all, because that wears off.
It will.
Like at this stage of my life, I've been single. I was married twice. First time for 10 years, second time for 10 months. Had as much fun.
You had the number 10 on your mind.
Listen,
What's up,
listen.
Pam?
And so I'm at the stage now where what I want most is a partner, right?
Gotcha.
A real somebody that genuinely likes me, right? Genuinely likes me as a person and wants to be with me because they choose to and for no other reason,
Gotcha.
right? Now, when it comes down to the sex part, for me,
We gonna buzz forever.
I just feel like you can be intimate with the person. You can have intimacy without having sex.
There you go.
Okay, understood.
Right? And a lot of times, you know, you,
He's taking notes.
I'm just saying a lot of times, just having that feeling when you're with a person
Comfort zone?
is fulfilling at times, right?
So it's deeper than you say.
Absolutely. And
But every
more,
woman wants that, but we still want that. Oh,
yeah,
Right,
but
right.
you know,
'Cause I'm
You
in
have
that-
to develop
Look.
a comfort zone in that sense.
And I can understand where Pam
I am
comes,
gonna
where
do
she's
his
coming from. I
forehead.
get
If he
that.
I'm
can't
just
get
like-
it from there. I'm gonna do the forehead. Somehow it's gonna happen.
yeah. See, look,
No, but you do get into a place of you do want the comfort, you want that stability. Like there are, and I can understand that. But right now in my life,
And the-
I be needing all.
yeah,
like, I be
the-
needing the whole package.
the-
I'm gonna need to
the-
know you can take
the
care
sex
of me.
would be a
something
bonus,
happen and
right,
it's stop. Yeah,
right.
And that's a good
Right.
place to be where the sex is.
So
the plus.
does that? Do you think that comes from these two idiots?
Whoa! Hey.
Does that? Do you think that comes just from the maturation in your life? Does it come from past experiences? Does it come from, you know, like they say with relationships, the 80-20 rule? You get 80 what you need, 20 of what you want.
I think it's a combination of all of that. I really do. Like, I think I've reached a maturity level where, you know, it just don't have to be about sex. Like, as
No, my sex
when
drive
I was in
has
my
kicked in. When did your sex drive
Wait.
kick in after your
My-
because
Let me tell
I
you.
think it kicked in at 40, and then all of a sudden I can hump a tree. I don't
Ah!
know.
listen.
What it-
Okay, so at least we're in that range.
From 20 to
Okay.
30, I was married. Right. So
Okay.
my entire 20s, when you
Think
are
about it, you was
usually
with that
out
same-
humping
yeah.
everything that move when you got your whole card out, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't have that. I was married, right?
Okay.
And so when I got divorced, so from 30 to 40, I bought my whole card back out. Right.
It was a different phase though at 30.
That was her. Dina Howard.
It was when I turned from like 20 to 29, I was just hunching for just the fact that I knew how to.
Listen.
But when I got like 30, it was like I know what I like.
Listen.
Let me tell you.
Exactly.
And then when you turn 40, it's like now I'm just letting this thing marinate. Just keep letting it flow from where it was.
That's when that thing fall off the bone.
So, right, from 20 to 30, you don't really know what you like or what you like, right?
Absolutely.
I was married during that time.
Right, I got
and
you.
so when we got separated, then I started to really look at
Understand
myself, right, and see what it is that I like and don't like and want to try and so I had that from 30 to 40 for sure. And then I don't know, I don't want to say it just went downhill from there, but as far as me having a partner, right? Just hasn't happened the way that I'd like to see it happen. And so I'm just not out here having random sex because most of the time there's no satisfaction there.
I don't want random sex. I want sex with somebody that I completely care about. And if I love you, that's even better. But I want good sex. I am 52 years old, and I promise you that I...
As the eyes stretch and the jaws drop.
Yeah, because I'm like, no, it don't look like that. Like, I'm telling y'all, black
He has no
like,
poker
black,
face
I'm like, beautiful.
at
I
all.
love this thing. Yeah, okay. Y'all are killing me right now with these numbers. But I'm loving this. I love this conversation.
Right,
This
so
what's
I'm
up.
at a point, my daughter is grown.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm holding on to this tissue.
okay.
My daughter is grown, and now I have the house to myself.
And wanna act
and
a fool.
I want to swing from the chandelier. You know that song? I want to swing from the chandelier. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, and I want it. And the funny part about me is,
Was the guy younger than you?
no, he wasn't. We were the same age. He was the same age. But I don't care.
Y'all start trying to figure out what was wrong with that man.
Because
You just
it
did not-
doesn't
you wasn't
matter.
prepared.
Because
You
I'm
wasn't sure.
bisexual. So if it's a woman, she better bring her A game. If it's a guy, he better bring his A game. Because I'm not going to have bad sex. I'm at a point in my life where I deserve good sex. Every time.
Yeah, you gotta stop.
Oh, sorry, because it's like,
And you know what? And I think I've almost given up.
okay.
Sometimes
Don't give
I-
up the dream. Keep
you
hope
know what I'm
alive.
saying?
Keep hope alive.
Like, listen, it's not that I don't have my moments, you know what I mean? But
That's not the priority anymore.
it's just,
and I can understand.
it's just not. I'm trying. I want to, I would love to find somebody that you know could meet me where I am, right? And I can meet them where they are, and we can explore all kinds of, sexual whatever we want to do. So I'm open and receptive to things, but while I'm not even gonna say I'm waiting for him to show up. I'm just doing me.
Living your
I'm just
life
living
in the
my life,
meantime,
and
like, and if he falls in place,
I'm
it is.
traveling, and I'm, I went to
wanna
India
do it.
for a month a couple of years
I wanna
back,
do
and
it in India.
I go here, and
Wait, the story
And-
of the
I wanna do it in
group
India,
back.
too.
and I did that when I was in India, and it was a waste of my time.
Oh,
and
But at least you can say you did it.
oh my
You know?
God, it was awful.
Oh my goodness.
It was awful.
It wasn't
Let
a
me ask you
massage
this,
therapist,
fam.
was it?
I didn't even hear. What is
It wasn't a massage therapist. Let me ask you this, because you're saying you were married in your 20s and 30s, where most people are doing their whole thing and what have you. If you were in your 20s and 30s when you were married, being committed to that one person, once you guys got divorced and what have you, and now you were free to do whatever you wanted, do you think that because you were with that one person so long, and now that you're able to have a variety of different things, you were able to discern that, what I had back then, that wasn't nothing, and I was
That's right.
encapsulated in that one relationship where I could have been experiencing so much more.
Good.
Well,
He could have been the best she ever
He could have
had.
been, yes.
But
That's
you know
what
what,
I'm
though?
saying. She didn't know that because she hadn't had the opportunity to test the waters.
But this is the thing.
She had chickens,
I
she
always
didn't have
said to myself that had I had an affair,
You
I
would've
would
left.
probably still be
Oh,
married.
you'd still be married. Okay.
I would probably still be married had I not had an affair.
Right.
I-
I would have known that the rest of it was garbage.
I did not. And the thing is, my ex-husband, he never really satisfied me sexually. but
Great provider, great
Check
citizen.
all of
no,
them.
I loved him. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So I don't know.
That's
Really,
true.
Well, you're not gonna
loved
have an
him.
affair because you loved him.
I loved him.
I was
And-
married to a
and-
minister, and I can't say that I had
Right.
that love.
Right, but I'm saying I was still so young. Even I think it was just a lot of inexperience, right? So
Gotcha.
it's even at 20, I'm still just getting out the
Yeah.
gate at
Trying to
18.
figure out
You know what I'm
what-
saying?
Training wheels
And then I
on the
go.
Jumping out the
I was in the
porch.
military. I was overseas, and I got married over there in Guam. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I really loved him, and he was the only partner I have ever had in my entire life. Thus far.
That's what I'm saying. So
Thus
she
far,
had
he was
no
my
other compare it
first.
to.
You know what I mean? He wasn't
Right.
the first person I ever had sex with, but
But it was the one you loved.
I loved him, and
So-
so the
but I
sex
was
part
17 when I
didn't
met
matter as much. But I wish that we would have explored more,
A little bit
because-
more.
right? Allowed ourselves to be more vulnerable with
And open
each
to-
other.
yeah,
exactly. But
and
we
open to
were
see what we
young.
can fix that.
We
Yeah,
were so
I got
young.
you.
Had we worked through it, then we may still be married to this day.
So for me, I always said I was gonna marry late. I knew I wasn't gonna marry in my 20s. 30,
I've
it had to be
never been
30s for me
married.
because I felt like 20s, everybody's still trying to figure themselves out, understand what they want to do and how they want to operate and move. And I really didn't understand what my sexual experiences were gonna be like in 20s. I probably was basic as crap in 20s and thought I was hot shit.
Actually, our parents didn't talk to us about sex.
They didn't.
No, they-
And they
no,
didn't.
So
No.
it wasn't like
They didn't.
we had anything to talk about,
You had to
or
discover it
or
for yourself.
even known that other people were dissatisfied with sex during that time. I got
Yeah.
married when I was 27,
Yeah, no.
and by then, I had done humped the nation. So
But
Yeah.
it was
Of
you.
Islam?
Hey, listen.
No.
Anybody who get married at 20 anything, they really setting
And they're
themselves
growing,
up for
and they're
failure.
going to go through growing
'Cause-
pains, and they don't even
yeah, you gonna
realize. Like you
change
get
every
married
10
at
years.
25, and you're not the same at 35. Like
I got-
that, you shoot 25 to 30. I think anytime, like for me, I know that anytime I hit the first number of whatever age I'm about to jump into, I always have like this whole. Let me rethink myself. Let me reevaluate what I'm doing. How to fix this. What don't I like? What do I want to do better? And I think I did that at 30. At 40, I felt the same way. I told my friend when I have a young homegirl. She's younger, and I was like, when you turn 30, I'm telling you, you're gonna have this whole talk with your own self, and it ain't gonna be with nobody else, and it ain't gonna be about nobody else. It's just gonna be about you, and you're gonna try and figure out those boxes you're trying to check for yourself, and now you're not trying to prove yourself to anybody. And that's what she did. And I think everybody goes through that. You hit 30, you hit 40, you hit 50. Like it happens, 60, so on and so on, because you're still trying to reinvent yourself
Reinvent
and
the wheel,
and figure out
Yeah.
what you like now. So like you said, when you were 20 something, you weren't in that same space. 30 something, you got into a space and you try to figure that out. 40 and so on and so on. So it just. To me, it makes sense. I can understand why sex isn't necessarily the priority for you. You're looking for something different,
I think-
I'm
that's
scared
totally
because
okay.
the older men get, the older we get. Because I like to date men around my same age.
Why not younger?
It's gonna go away, and pretty soon, it's just gonna be me and Mister
Yeah.
be the vibrator. And
Oh, don't say that, because look at Alfie's face when he hear vibrators. He don't like talking about toys
Okay,
with
it's
women.
not
He
that
say
I
they
don't
think
like
they
it, it's
replace
just I don't want to get replaced by one.
It's not that.
Nah,
it's
you
not a
never.
replacement.
You gotta make that thing your tag team partner. It'll help
Right,
you out.
because it's gonna be some
know what I'm
days.
saying?
Trust me,
I'm
when
still
you in a
trying to, like,
relationship, that you ain't gonna. Right,
You're gonna be like, hold on, girl.
Rest of the night, because I'm really. You ain't even on my radar right now. Right, it's gonna be
you and
times,
you
and
and
that's
you and him
okay.
It's
go
an
there together.
intimidation factor, I guess.
Is it
in a
an
sense.
intimidation factor?
Well, like if you
Alfie, it's
don't
your
live
friend.
up to the vibrator, I suppose.
No, you
The
let-
vibrator
you
is
feel like
a.
you get replaced by the vibrator.
Right.
Well, that's what.
I'm just
Yeah.
Oh,
saying.
you thinking
those
about
are-
the big one?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
If you ain't doing your thing, that's how
Yeah.
it goes.
Right, and most women have those as like usually it's kind of like an accessory.
Yeah.
It's just an
It's just
an
icing on the
enhancement to
cake.
whatever. Because you like for me, I have toys. Like I'm not like it ain't that my husband don't please me because that's far from our issue. Because a toy is only gonna do so much. Like
And
I don't have time
and
for
the
that.
toy-
That's
and the
for-
toy ain't warm like me.
right. The toy is
A
more
toy
of a
can't
quick,
talk to you
instant,
like I
instant
can.
thing that's going
Right.
to happen for you. You're going to get to what you
Can't
need to get
grab
to,
you
and
like
you
that.
kind of keep moving. I want to be to the point where I want to roll over and go to sleep, and that's what I get with
Yes.
from that mate. Like, I want to roll over, go to sleep. Like, okay, babe, we can go to sleep.
Can-
together. Yeah, let's,
can-
Right.
can-
let me
Let's
just snore
cuddle.
all over.
Can,
yeah,
the,
it's,
can the
it's
toy
just
ask
something
you,
different.
do you like this, baby?
Right.
You know,
My
stuff
toy
like
asks
that.
me every night. It's a pacifier.
It's a
It was like, I was good to you, baby. One night I was like, yeah.
What you got that rose with? She got that rose.
And I tuck it in. I pull the cover over it. I be like,
You better.
Okay.
Alfie,
No.
Alfie, bro, I'm gonna tell you,
It's not.
Alfie, get you a bag, man. Show up to the crib.
we like
Yeah.
bags.
Like a tool bag.
That reminds me of the episode about
with your Timberlands on, a
Right,
time
we like
card,
that.
and your
But we
tool
do
bag,
not
Come to
like
work.
Ain't no
dildos,
work.
just so that you know.
hard hat.
All
came to
women
work,
do
baby.
not
Women
like
do
dildos.
not like dildos.
Because I don't have
like
to
one.
have
Me
that.
either.
But a pocket rocket,
They just want it on the outside.
What about the
All
one that
right.
the guy can control it?
I don't like that either, because I'm not gonna be sitting over there and you talking about baby.
Yeah, nah,
not even
I
about
you
that,
know what?
so-
I kind of.
You got to give her
I
that look.
I kind of would let Solomon do something. Like, Solomon is the type, he'll buy something like that just to kind of like
Do
get
it,
the reaction.
Solomon.
But the thing about it, he knows me, because I know it'd be like, oh, he trying to be funny. I
Right.
wouldn't do it. But if I was just on something just like, okay, I'm gonna let's just be as loose as we want to. Let's just chill. Let's do this. I would do it, because I know he would be doing it with like his own little meaning, and in that way, it just enhances
That's
when the
exactly
time
the
you
point
get
I'm trying to
home.
get at.
I don't know.
But
a lot of
I
times
want to
women
be in a
be doing that.
business meeting and my husband is sitting across from me.
No.
And
He ain't gonna do that then.
Not at the business. Maybe at a dinner.
I meant like
Maybe-
a business function or something. You know how you go out with your colleagues and there's like a party going on and he's across the room and he got this little wicked look on his face and I'm over here and then all of a sudden he goes zzz.
And this is why you have communication.
Yeah.
Communication is probably the most important thing.
Kind
to
of,
have.
yeah. I wouldn't be. I think that'd be cool. Nah, so because we've gone out and me and Solomon have
Sound
gone
like a
out
good
and done
time.
stuff like, for example, we wear no wedding rings and we just act like we just some friends or whatever, just two friends just going to hang out, and you
propane.
just be flirting around in the room and talking to people, and it's just cool, and it's not necessarily we going to any type of sexual spot. We could be at a cigar lounge and just doing
Right.
that and just chilling, and we have fun. We get back home, we talk about it, babe. Did you see that? Oh my god! Like, and there we go. That's our time,
great,
and
but
here we
didn't
go.
buzz you.
If he did, it'd probably be fun.
Then
We'll
you
have a
gonna
good
crack
time.
up laughing, so you done totally lost whatever you were
Mm-mm.
talking about.
Which is true. He probably wouldn't have did it though.
And
in
people
that
looking
spot.
at you because you don't went.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what's that?
Girl, I can't look. I can't even.
Yeah, but I mean
explain.
that's the inside
That's the
joke
give and
for
take.
on her.
Just hit it one time.
So it'll be interesting. Nah, I appreciate
It's a
that.
unique experience. I mean, you.
Oh, so you've
I'm
done that.
No, not yet, but I've imagined it.
Imagine.
Hey,
it.
Al.
It has to be a situational thing. You can't just be randomly like, okay,
But
we're
I
gonna
feel
go.
a lot of stuff won't happen if it's just
Hey.
happening in your head. You
No,
gotta
I know.
verbalize that
Trust
with
me, I
your
would love
mate,
to
whoever
implement
you're
it if I
with.
could
You're gonna have
find
to
the right person to
verbalize
implement
that.
it with.
Yeah,
Alfie, I got a bag for you.
Please.
you gotta
So,
implement
take
that.
it to your
Don't
next
take it
session.
back. It's good. sir.
But
You gotta get your
Pam, I'll
own.
be honest. I can thank you and appreciate that response about being able to deal with, like, and being in a different space of if you had bad sex. Because my answer's always been, nah, if it's bad sex, I can't even do it. He if we do it and I love him, he gonna have to understand I'm gonna have to see somebody on the side to take
Right.
care of these,
Here, lizard.
these things. Because Lizard is gone. Lizard wouldn't have made it past first base. Okay, after you did that kiss, that was it. Because that's your telltale for me.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, if you have that experience, I think it's important, especially if you have any like for this person, maybe to discuss it as adults. You know, maybe kind of,
Old habits don't change, and that's just like the
and maybe he needs
octopus
help
kisser.
with something.
No, because there are some guys that lick your whole doggone face.
Yeah,
Bruh.
I don't want my whole
Bruh.
mouth. Like, it's a way to be sensual and not be overly like. Look,
Yeah, I don't want a lizard and I don't want an octopus.
Look.
Because you are not sucking my entire
look.
face.
My baby told her dad that one day Solomon used to always every morning he would make it shake, and I guess he'd take a sip of it, his mouth still wet. She was like, "Mommy, I hate when Daddy give me a kiss. His lips be so wet." So I had to tell him, "Daddy, don't kiss my baby because when you take your sip from your drink, she's already so." I love the fact that she, at her age, she was able to express to me
Yeah.
to tell me, "Hey, I love Daddy, but when he give me a kiss, tell him like he gotta stop kissing me when he have his drink." So for me, I'm a person I don't necessarily like wet kisses, so he'll stop. He'll make sure okay, she good. Let me go ahead and get her. So it's about teaching that person what you like.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to get at. Like, at the end of the day.
So, really quick, back one other last question I have for you, Pam. And like we say on this show, when we ask questions, you can say, "Hey, that's none of your business. I don't want to answer that," or you can be open with it and continue the discussion.
I'm learning.
You stated that had you not had the affair, you'd probably still be married. Had you had an affair, you'd probably still be married. What's the thought process behind that? Yes.
Well, back then, I was so focused on my family, my husband. It was him and I for the first 3 years, and then we started having kids. I had my first kid at 25 and my second kid at 28.
Okay. So y'all gave yourself some time and some space. So it was real thoughtful. That's
and I even had the same exact due date with both my kids. And they're
y'all
born.
Shouldn't be having parties
Right.
at the same time.
Listen. And so.
All the bird babies. That's
Right.
So I was just so focused on my family. And maybe it was naivete, It never occurred to me that anything he ever said to me was anything other than the truth, right? That's how much I was invested in this relationship and with him. And when he cheated, I was
devastated. I know.
Devastated.
Because now whatever he said didn't even
completely and totally devastated. But we went through counseling and we got back together, but it didn't stick, right? It did not stick. But I think that had I not been I had tunnel vision. But I thought, this is how you're supposed to.
Relationship with
I feel like if I would have had an affair, I would have even opened up my heart to another person, or just physically or something, that it would have gave me a different perspective on what I had. Also, right?
Gotcha.
So a lot of the reason why we divorced has a lot to do with me, right?
That just sounds like you took ownership for his bad habits. Because when my husband
No,
had
I never
his
said
affair,
no. No, I did not. I didn't. I think that. I'm not going to say I drove him out of the house, but I was not a very nice person.
And you can own the fact of what you contributed to that.
Right. I was very. Well, I tell you this. I had my son when he was 4 years old. He said to me, "You know what, Mom? You're never satisfied."
At 4?
That came from my 4-year-old.
Gotcha.
From my son, right?
a powerful thing.
Yeah. It was a lot, and I had a man who did everything. I come home from work.
Yeah.
Dinner's done. Kids are fed, bathed.
Yeah,
He cutting the grass.
I don't know
And
that
then
man.
and then I'm like, well, why didn't you do this?
Yeah,
Nothing he
it
ever
wasn't
did
enough.
was enough.
Gotcha.
And that's the person that I was. And I was that person
Did you
for
ever talk to your
a
mother
long
about that? Because a lot of my relationship was guided by my mom. Because Mom, I don't understand this, and my mother would direct me because I was married to a minister, so I had a lot of mothers that had input on my marriage.
See, that'd be too much for me.
Yeah.
That would have been too much for me. Like, although I talk to my mom and we have a good relationship, we have our different approaches and mindsets of it because we seeing it from two different angles.
Right.
She's seeing it from what her experience was, and I'm seeing it from what I'm living and what I'm doing. And I'm in a more of a progressive space with that because I can, like I said, I understand where Pam coming from, where she can own the part that she played in. Because there was, me and Solomon have talked about it before, we've had infidelity in our relationship, but during the time that it was happening, I had to look at the dynamics had changed. I had a kid, and all my energy was going into this little baby when I'm leaving them to fend for themselves and not even taking in regard, like, oh, he's used to being able to, us to be able to have sex and do this, or be able to go, us to do stuff as a family. And now all I'm focusing on, well, y'all can go do that. I'm just focusing on this little one here. So that does create this space because now when you used to getting sex 3 or or 5 times, 6 times a week, and now it's going to once or twice, and it goes to once or twice every other week, and now it's stretching out. that does drive somebody to make a decision. Okay, look, she's not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I gotta go get pleased somewhere. Like, what's gonna happen? And you gotta own that part of it. Not only
I guess I just didn't understand because
yeah.
my mother was my guide. My grandmother was too, because my grandmother and me being brought up, you have to serve your man, you have to fix his dinner, you have to make sure his laundry is. And then
did your grandma work outside the home?
Yeah, she did. She worked at GE.
And she did all of this stuff like that.
My grandmother raised 10 children, and she was the
served
freaking bomb.
Because I was gonna say my dad worked at a cement company, and my mom worked for Chase Bank, and whoever got home first, my dad cooked better than my mom anyway, so he cooked dinner. It wasn't her job or serve this person. It was never like, so that's the dynamic I grew up in.
I never saw that.
It was like, even though she may have fixed plates and stuff like that, but my dad was like, oh, okay, did your mom leave out the food? Like, my mom left out the food for that day and he beat her home. My dad was like, okay, your homework done. You need to take out the garbage. This person, I'm going to cook the dinner. When we come back together, everybody such and such. So by the time she came in, it was done. And there are days that she did the same thing. And that's a beautiful thing that I kind of, like, maybe I pushed that into my relationship kind of in a sense to, like, be like, dang, I need this balance. But it was just because that was what I was used to.
Right. You learn what you live.
Yeah.
We always learn what we live.
So what your grandmother did, your mom saw that. And so she replicated that and then and put that in your same place to help you replicate that. So it's just a difference.
Well, I don't do that for my daughter now, because when she came to Tampa, she was like, Mom, I love this guy so much. I said, date 3. She was like, date 3? I date 3. She was like,
I want her to get sold.
No, I didn't want her. No, I didn't want that. And even now that she's in medical school, and she's like, Mom, me and so one of the 3 guys that she dated while she was here, she's like, we're gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend. I said, are you sure? I was like, how you gonna slice that pie? Like that. And she's like, well, Mom, I was like, in the moment he begins to make you crazy, you better pick up another one.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in that now, where my mother and my grandmother, they was still deaf
stick
to
out
us.
To that. Yeah.
Right. You know, because my mother,
that's how they were
my
raised.
mother and
that's what they
not my father, because my father used to beat my mother, but my mother tried to stay with my father. However, when she got with my stepfather, when I was at age 7, even though he was addicted to drugs, my mother went nowheres.
Oh, no. That's what, and that's the thing. That's what happened to my parent. My mom always said if your dad never had a drug issue or wouldn't, if he would have got it fixed and just really worked towards resolving that, she would have stayed with him forever. But even it came to a point because kids see all of the stuff that go on. We was like, by the time I'm 18 and she's like, oh yeah, I'm finally leaving your dad. I was like, we all sat around like, dang, well, why it take you so long? Like, what made you wait? You was waiting for us. You should have been left. This is not a good example. So she took those things into, to heart and how we process that stuff. But that's what helps me to understand the dynamics in my relationship and how I kind of function a little bit, but I definitely ain't taking all her advice on what she did in her relationship.
But they also came up in a totally different time and era than we did. Where if you think about just women's rights and how long it took us to even get the right to vote, and then the black women didn't get that same right until like 20 years later. So, you know what I mean? Like,
but I asked that question because I know your mother, and I know how your mother puts into your life. So I was wondering why she didn't say to you.
Well, you know what? But also you have to think of the dynamics between me and my mom, right? So my mom and I left home when I was 18, right? My family's always been spread apart. My mom was living in California, right? I was in the military, so I was all over the place. And then I started my family when I was in Maryland. I did not get close to my mother until I turned 30. So on my 30th birthday,
right?
So you had been started. Was about to go through the divorce at that time, and my mom and I are 20 years apart. I went to California and I spent my 30th birthday with her, and it was her 50th birthday, and that is the time where I got to know my mother as a person. And not just mom.
Gotcha.
And that's when our relationship formed.
And then your mom probably raised you in a way that she was your mom, not your friend.
Right. And
that's definitely my mom's
right.
That's my thing. My mom was like, my mom was like, I'm your mama, I'm not your friend. But as we got older, like she became like she's a friend. Like I think she's one of my friends or whatever the case may be. She's still my mama first. I don't give her all my tea, but I still think that was like you only do what you know. Like in what my mom says now, like she looks at it and look at the way we parent and different things like that. She knows that I'm her kid that is always outside of the box. So she never tries to give me too much information because then I'd be like, okay, girl, that worked for you.
Yeah, my mom is
See, my
like
mother used to always say,
always
"You
on
can
the phone
leave."
with me trying to tell me something.
She's like, if it's not working, you leave.
Yeah.
And not
She's
what
not
my
gonna
mother
understand
saying. I mean, my mother did what my grandmother did, but she told me that I could leave. Whereas I tell my daughter now, don't settle for anything. You can
Right.
leave.
Absolutely.
So
Understood.
I was just wondering because your mother has such a strong personality. I was wondering why she didn't say to you, "Okay, Pam, this isn't working. You're feeling a certain kind of way. Why don't you try and do it differently?"
I mean, and I don't want to speak for you, but I mean, I think in answering that, when other previous questions that Pam has answered, where she said, you know, he was her everything, you know, and it took her son to say, "Mama, you never satisfied," you know, she wouldn't leave at that point in time because she felt she had all that she wanted.
Well, I didn't want her to leave. I just wanted her to think about her choices.
No, and I understand
Because
that.
I don't think it's healthy for any woman to really. I think that a lot of people separate in their relationships without really trying to fix the root of what's going on. Because I know I'm guilty of it. Because I'm like at the point where if I see a red flag, I am bouncing. I am out. So, yeah, I gotta go.
Because you stayed before longer than you
But
did.
that's because I'm suffering from PTSD now. So it's like, at what point do you help your child grow or help your mate grow in a sense where everybody is?
From a parental standpoint, and trust me, I'm not trying to give you advice on how to raise your child, but the advice that I have, or the route that I take, is the fact that with this 4-year-old that we're raising, I can't impose on her things that I went through in my life. Because
agree
they're
with
two
that.
totally different experiences. So I can't say, "Hey, baby, you know, the second you see this, run for the hills." Because maybe in my situation, I ran for the hills or didn't recognize what those red flags were. But like you just said, I never took the time to understand what's the root of that red flag, and can I turn that red flag into a green flag before bouncing?
Right.
Now, the scariest part for me going into this marriage, because I was married previously to before Shannon, when we talk about how we were raised, I mean, this man right here, we went to high school together, so he's known me as a kid. I knew Shannon as a child. We were childhood friends before we ever started dating. We were friends. I was raised by a single parent. You know, my father raised me from the time I was 11 years old to the time I graduated. So I never saw how a household functioned with a father and a mother, with the father being the provider and the mother doing whatever her role was. It was never clearly defined for me. All I knew was Dad took care of everything, you know, and 9 times out of 10, Dad taught me to be responsible enough so while he was at work making the money, he would just be able to say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to work. On the table, there's $150. Go to the grocery store, make sure you're taken care of. You know, I'm going to take care of me. You just make sure you going to school, getting good grades, and staying out of trouble." All the other responsibilities as a man's supposed to do this, a man's supposed to do that. Because he was such a young parent, you know, we almost kind of grew up like older brother, younger brother versus father and child.
And it comes back to the same thing. Children learn what they live.
Right. Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah, you do. That's a good point, because I watched my dad for a long time conduct himself a certain way. I know he had girlfriends. I never seen a marriage ever until my mom got married, and then I was able to view it. But even in that, I saw some things in the marriage like, okay, well, this is what men do. And watching my dad conduct himself the way he conducted himself, like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to follow those same patterns. I'm probably going to take a lot of what he is, because I got that.
You his genes,
You know what I'm
genetics,
saying?
baby.
And I did, and I saw a whole lot of parallels. And then my dad seen it too, because he was like, before he passed away, he had this very, very pivotal conversation with me one day, and he said to me, because I used to call this little phase of my life Dick on Tour.
So you was just giving everybody.
Dick appearing
On
tonight.
tour, you was just going.
On the side of my car, Dick is gonna be here. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? You know what I'm saying? So my dad seen that, and one day he come in the room and he like, hey, wake up, we need to go have something to eat. I'm like, okay, I mean, I just come in. He was like, get up, you gonna sleep all day? I just got in, you know. He was like, I need to talk to you. So he goes in there and he talks to me because my dad was a coach, and he talking to me in baseball terms, like, man, you know, when someone's on the bench, they able to see the game. They're able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
They're able to look at the mistakes everybody making. And,
Yeah.
you know, then when it's time for them to get in the game,
They
they're
know
going to
it.
do better
They more
because they
prepared.
seen all the mistakes everybody else
Yeah.
made. I'm sitting there looking crazy as hell. Like, yo, Dad, what you talking about? He say, man, you need to get control of your dick.
Ah.
He say, I see myself in you. I see me in you. And you going to be looking back like I was like, he would say, like, I look at your mom now. And I'll be like, damn, I really messed up. You know, he said, you're going to do this. So I'm here to tell you right now, you need to go ahead and fix this before that. And I'm like, he said, so take yourself out the game. And I'm like,
Take me out the
Dang,
game,
Dad.
coach.
Dad, come out the game. He say, yeah. I said, what you mean? He say, stop having sex. Get control of your dick. Say no. I know it's a lot out there. So you got to learn how to say no, because if you don't, you're gonna be messed up.
Off everything.
Crash and burn. Did you
I-
crash and burn?
respect.
Nah, I took myself out. I really did. I followed.
You was late.
I followed.
You was late coming out the game. Like,
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna try what he said.
You was
and-
2
and,
outs already.
Yeah, I was
Go
already like
ahead.
2 hours. And he like, yo, you know they caught up.
Yeah,
on
come
out.
out.
Yeah. So I took myself out for about like a good 6-7 months, and I was able to see exactly what he was talking about. I was able to see how women move, and that's when, you know, your mindset changed. I was already hitting 30, so I'm 20-something years old, and I'm like, okay, I hit 30 without him. So it was like he already had that last little prepared to let me know, hey, listen, if you don't do this, you gonna be messed up.
Right.
Woo.
That's been
Levels.
heavy. All right, heavy.
Nah, I'm in it for the full 48, coach. Start to finish.
I had that same conversation with my son.
Yeah,
Ooh.
It's hard.
it's a
He got 3 kids,
oh
3 grandkids, 3 baby mamas.
Oh no.
He's only 30.
See, look, my mom told me a long
Tell him
time
to
ago.
call
my,
me,
mom,
cousin.
my mom had that conversation a
I-
long time ago. First, my mom
How many
told me
baby
you don't
mamas?
have you don't have to have no
Okay.
baby from every relationship.
I just
10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 6-month.
well, he was
I
spacing
just
them out, though.
I just posted a couple days ago that
trying to give you the bright side.
yeah, that's true. I just posted a couple days ago, and I said that we as men need to teach other men to, if you do so happen to have a kid with a girl early in your life, make sure she the one you want to deal with for the rest of your life.
And explain to them they don't
And
want
I'll
they don't
tell
have
you-
to have a baby from every relationship. Babies don't
Yeah.
define love, and I think that sometimes people like, and I'm not necessarily saying it's the guy. Women cling on to men when they see good qualities sometimes, and they have kids with them and think that that's their way to keep them. I think, and I'm saying that for like these younger girls because I know
Yeah.
that wasn't my mindset. I wasn't even thinking about
My-
no baby.
my
I
daughter-
gave my box back.
My daughter been with the same dude. They have a kid. They're about to have another kid, right? And I told her the same
Wait a minute,
thing.
he just
She's-
a dude. How old your daughter is?
22.
Oh, he just a dude.
They've been together for.
I'm gonna still have this
I
conversation
think-
because let me explain something to you, and this is something I'm telling. I gotta make sure I drive home to my girls.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have these kids, like you don't have to keep having kids from somebody you with, because y'all just together. Because
Right.
let me tell you, something happened to old boy. Guess who get to make the final decisions on him?
His mama.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
part, and he
I-
leaves you nothing.
That's what I told her.
So I need that's a conversation that as parents we got to start having
I
with our
told-
kids to help them understand that, because you and old girl been together for a long time. What they say, she gonna be referenced like the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
dog. She was a
Yeah.
good, loyal,
good,
faithful
loyal personal
companion.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Special friend.
Special friend. Labeled
Yeah.
like she. Some of the girl
Yeah.
said she wrote her
Yeah.
daddy girlfriend, her daddy
Yeah.
girlfriend in the funeral
Aunt
program, like a
Gertrude gonna have
German
to call her
shepherd.
from the back. Come
Right.
on up front.
Right.
Come on.
So you gotta. I think that's a conversation that we have to have with our kids a little bit more, and
Nah.
like try and educate them on that part of it.
I told him,
Mm-hmm.
her boyfriend. I said, man, I see that you love her, and I see that's who you want to be with or whatever. For me, I feel like they probably already married. They just don't want to tell nobody.
Why?
But
They got two babies.
Hell, all you got to do
Yeah.
is search that in
That's true.
marriage records.
and but I want. I'm like,
You
You
want
want to
to
hear it.
I want to hear it.
Get
because-
out of here, Dad.
No, for one, because if she took any pages out of my book, which I hope she didn't, I
The Book
got
of
married
Rob?
and didn't tell nobody.
Gotcha.
The Book of Rob?
Yeah,
Book of
Book
Rob?
of Rob. I hope she didn't.
What about the Book of
I hope she
Solomon?
didn't go
What
there.
chapter
I
is
hope
that
she
in,
didn't go there.
man?
But I told him, I said, listen, that's my daughter. I love her and I know what time it is. But you've been here all this time. What you waiting on?
But stop trying to just knock her up.
What you
man.
waiting
Like,
on?
y'all
You know what I'm
just-
saying? Y'all already saying to
Y'all know it
to
feel
everybody
good.
you want to be
You
together.
gotta
It feel,
talk.
oh yeah, it feel good. Yeah, they didn't tell you that it felt good. They just don't have sex. Nah. I tell them the truth. I know. Hey, listen, I ain't stupid. I know what time it is.
Yes,
I
sir.
know when you was
Gotta
coming
respect.
home from the military. I knew it was sooner or later. It was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
I
y'all
think
might
it's-
well make that
No
right.
parent really wants that for their kid. We all try to shield our kids. Don't have sex. Sex is
I
nasty.
don't
Nah,
know.
I tell them.
I don't know. I just told my kid
don't
to
lie
be
to the kid
honest.
no more.
Yeah, I just need you to talk
Them
to me
last-
so we can make
them
some
last three I ain't
precautions.
lying to.
But my daughter, that ain't even our concern. I need her to just find her. How about
I
that?
just wonder what the conversation's like in this day and age. Because I remember back in my day, it wasn't actually about the
It's
sex.
more progressive.
Well,
Trust
no, I'm
me.
saying it's not about the sex, it's about the
Yeah,
responsibility.
because all they see is what's on social
They
media
know
and what
more.
pops up.
These young people know more than they should. When we was growing up,
Right. We didn't have
this.
cell phones, right?
Yeah.
You
I
know?
got to say this in the mic.
We had experience.
We ain't have Google where you could type in some sex. You had
Yeah.
you had to find a nasty book.
Yeah.
That's what we called it.
The
And
nasty
then the
back
nasty
there.
book,
Flick.
flick. You stumbled on a collection that you weren't supposed to in your mama house in her
Right.
room
Yeah.
Behind the cereal
behind
boxes.
the yeah.
That's
It's
something
labeled
you trying to tell on
something
me?
else.
Is you trying to tell
Yeah.
on me?
Yeah.
Something you trying to tell on me? Is that what you're doing?
What's it say? Stop behind the cereal
Behind
box.
the cereal
Solomon
box.
said
Yeah.
that because my dad used to call us some X-rated kids. Because one day he caught us watching his movie, and then he blackmailed us almost in the sense like, "You want your mama to find out?" And we was like, "No." He's talking about, "Well, y'all all on clean up
Yeah.
duty. Y'all got to do
Yeah.
whatever I say." So
Yeah.
he had done rolled out for like a
Yeah.
week, and then we was thinking about, it. We was like, "Man, we should have told on that nigga. Man, he would have been in trouble. Mama would have got him because it was his movie. We found it by
found
the
it.
cereal." But
Hey, listen.
my mom, even up until my dad died, my mom laughed and she was like, I said, "Ma, you ever wonder why he called us X-rated kids?" She said, "Nah, your dad just used to say stupid stuff to y'all all the time."
You know, he knew
and
y'all-
when we explained it to her, she
y'all
was dying.
found
She
the-
was talking about, "Why didn't y'all tell on him?" And I
Yeah.
was like, man, it was, but he was so easy going on us. Like my parents were so like different from like parents. Like I always tell people, we used to have meetings. We didn't like stuff they did. We'll put a meeting on the calendar, like, oh, Wednesday, yep, he get off, yep, we having a
We
family
having a
meeting.
family meeting.
We didn't like how he was talking to you the other day, Shante, so we gonna talk to him for you.
Oh,
And we
God.
put together a meeting, and they would sit
Exactly.
there. They would sit there and entertain it like they took in whatever we did, and they'll be like, "Okay, but that's gonna be a
Yeah,
no."
yeah.
But I appreciate the fact that you allowed us to shoot our
Express
shot, give
yourself.
us our
Voice our
case,
opinion.
say how we felt, and
Yeah.
then sometimes they did take away some of the ideas or stuff that we had come up or whatever. But they weren't like those. They were really progressive. I'll just be honest, they were progressive parents. So
Oh,
you
so
know.
you ain't see they allowed you to talk. You
Well, my
like,
parents couldn't say nothing because my dad had my
My
brother. He was
mama
like
ain't
in the
had
ninth
that.
grade, so
She
he was
ain't-
going into high school with a son, so he had to be a little
When I
flexible.
say go, that was the whole thing.
You don't do what I
Nah,
do,
you
you
don't
do what I say.
Yeah, do what I
Because
say.
even when they yelled at us and
You
we
gonna
could be
learn.
mad, we'll walk off later. I write my mama a note. I did not like how you was talking to us today. You was just really mean and you was yelling. And I don't know if you had a rough day, but I apologize. And she would read that letter.
letter
My
work.
mama would tell you, Mama said, I read the letters. She talking about I have to come back at
Yeah.
y'all a different way because she
Yeah.
didn't get that approach. She didn't
My mother
understand
would
it.
have pulled my lip over my
What?
head.
Nah,
Exactly.
we
No,
ain't
no,
getting in trouble
I was
like
able.
that.
I was able to
Conversation
write a
like that.
letter. I was.
Yeah, Solomon
Right,
always
a
think
letter.
that's funny.
Yeah, I had
She
to
gonna
one
break
day.
a finger.
Yeah, I had to.
She, mama, and I would slide it right under that pillow like that, so you know you're gonna have to see it. Whether you gonna see it tonight or you can see it in the morning, it's up to you.
Yeah,
You
we
was
ain't
Or
playing.
I tape it on your
You get-
on your mirror and say to mommy, like you
Yeah.
know, you still be nice.
You were
To mommy.
And then,
bold.
yeah, to mommy, yeah, to keep
that-
it nice,
hey.
respectful. But that's how. But Solomon tell you, my uncle said, I think them kids about y'all was some disrespectful kids and y'all didn't even know it because y'all would say stuff and it wasn't like we were rude. Y'all were very polite, but it was they allowed us to voice our feelings. So I think that's what carries me kind of like when Solomon trying to discipline the baby, I discipline her differently. Like it's, but it finds its balance. You know, I'm able to talk to
Y'all
you,
on the
do
same
it.
page. though.
We talk about it afterwards, and I be like, babe, you can't do it like that because, you know, she a little more sensitive. She responds differently, and you got to be able to meet her where she's at. And so it works, you know, whatever. So
My last 3 kids, they teenagers. 5.
Oh Lord.
Because you made it sound like
Yeah. I got.
We got a little basketball
Because
team.
I
It's a
have
basketball team.
Their ages go crazy. You know, since 27, 22, and 14, 12, and 10. So those last 3, man.
The first 2, he was like just shooting his shot. Cause dude, 27, 22, like.
I mean, you ain't talking 22 and 4.
Nah. So what it was?
Yeah, that was
stumbled.
I
stumbled.
That
See,
was
4. That's a long gap.
Easy.
Long gap.
We got
Almost
one coming out
22
the womb,
and
the other
4.
one is crossing the stage graduating.
Yeah.
So that was a lot. But now we need to wrap it up here, y'all. I really want to thank y'all for the extended conversation. Thank y'all for jumping in at the last minute, being open, and creating great content.
this is a safe place. So.
It is, absolutely.
And like we tell all our guests on the podcast, you know, once you sit in those seats, it's an open door policy. So anytime you want to come back, you're welcome. You know, you can reach out to us when we're broadcasting on Facebook. You can listen to the playback on
iHeart,
Spotify,
Spreaker,
Tidal, Spreaker, all platforms
Apple,
streaming.
all of them.
We enjoy all the feedback that we got. Brittany, thank you for all your comments that you had in the
And
chat
thanks
today.
for joining us today.
Seeing Brittany down in
meeting
Ybor
them.
City today, that was
Absolutely.
that was great.
Shout out to Surgeon's performance.
Yep,
today.
Serge had a
He did
great
an excellent
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all will be hearing more from
brave.
Serge. So on that note, we'll wrap up his, hers, and ours, episode 38. Shannon Royal Davis with.
Mr. WFTS, Solomon Davis. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Before I let you in, there's one thing I've gotta say. There's no need to pretend there won't be another way. Tomorrow you'll wake up and you'll leave, you won't stay. Guess what you told me last night got me caught up this way. Oh, you got me caught up in another one of your ways. Sharing your love, no it ain't fair. Oh, you got me caught up in another one of your ways. Sharing your love, no it ain't fair. No it ain't fair.
Palm trees, cool breeze, got me feeling so free. Asking who is she? Call me, you'll see. Now he willing to be who she choosing to need. Sipping Mai Tais with the fly guy, linked to Wi-Fi, drinking high lies. Why does time fly so fast? Go past everything you knew, the mood you brew, got your screws loose. Now you're doing everything just to get him back. Staying inside your head while you're making stacks and made a splash.